Mordekaiser is something we predict every single red game from them because they like banning Azir and they simply have to ban Mordekaiser on the third try on red side. But SKT, they want none of that shenanigans. They say we have spare bans against AHQ. They just ban on Mordekaiser themselves.
I think they want a Lulu ban here so they can first pick Elise and not have to give anything up for it, or vice versa.
And that's the first time in the last 16 games that Mordekaiser has been banned on the blue side. It has been an exclusive red side ban. You can see it's thrown AHQ for a little bit of a loop, and they've left Lulu up in favor of banning out Ryze.
Maybe wise to just get Bengi at least here because Mountain has shown that he's not been playing too great on other junglers overall. And also just the pressure that Bengi does early game with that Elise in terms of dives. Remember the game against EDG where he had superior pathing than Clearoff and he just opens up the map.
And very quickly, that is the 19th time that Elise has been first picked this tournament out of 54 games. The first by a very large margin. The next is Lulu at 8, which is still available if AHQ want to lock it in. They've got a couple of options. The Kallista's up, the Tristana's up, the Lulu's up.
Just for AHQ, that Elise has been such an important pick. It's a small sample size, but they are 3-0 on Elise, and Mountain is, what, 1-3 on the other junglers that he has had available to him.
He still has Rengar available. I know you want the Crystal.
No. That's not coming back, Crepo.
Well,
you don't want to see that either.
Well, AHQ deciding they'll hold on to the jungle pick for now. Thresh and Kallista locked in.
The problem,
both of those from SKT.
Problem for AHQ is they don't want to give SKT the Kallista, but the problem is when you do pick Kallista and you don't actually lock in the Lulu, then you give a hyper carry composition with the Tristana that actually plays well into the Kallista too, and SKT now have really good late game already, so they're picking themselves into a bit of a bind here already.
Right, you take that Callista because Bang is professionally undefeated on that champion. SK Telecom has never lost a game playing Callista, so you feel like you're obligated to take it away. But when you do that, we don't get to see On playing Jinx. And just statistically, the Jinx has been very successful for him, but he's 1-2 on other AD carries not named Jinx.
Yeah, and SKT actually coming out with the necessary respect for that pick, making it their opening ban here, so just wanted to steal away some power of Bang, but the only way this goes bad for SKT is if Bang dies in lane, and Bang and Wolf have really shown that they just simply don't die at all.
One death for Bang across the 6 games they've played. We'll see if that can go closer. Dash talking about the 100 KDA. We'll see. We do see the Westdoor locking in the Diana. Understand why it was banned out during the group stages, and Westdoor's going to have to put on a monumental performance on this quite aggressive team comp that AHQ have already put together.
Well, I mean, Faker will probably just play the Lulu here. SKT, not a team that usually plays Lulu in the top lane, so it will be the Fiora making a return for Marin. And unsurprisingly, we're not seeing anything new from SKT. If I'm SKT coming in, I don't want to show anything unless I absolutely have to. I feel like I've got an easy match in this best of 5, so why display anything at all to clue in future opponents?
And then, yeah, you see something that you see very often when a team is just outclassed on many fields. They just go for a heavy skirmish composition in which they try to snowball. The Diana mid comes out from Westdoor. You got the skill, kind of outplay bot lane where you just want to flash in aggressively, hopefully get a kill and try and snowball. But if this composition falls behind, well, it's probably going to pick a low wave for their top laner anyways. Then you get sieged upon and you slowly lose the game again.
AHQ has played pretty much exclusively pick compositions out of the mid lane. We are looking at champions like Fizz, TF, Ahri, and Zed. For Westdoor, they've got another strong duelist here, so why change what got them to the quarterfinals in the first place? They're going to play pick, and that Darius would be no surprise.
Well, Darius is locked in as the timer runs down for AHQ. Put themselves, I feel like a pretty good skirmish comp. A lot of tools to play with. In SKT, they've got a lot of disengaging kite power, as well as the ability to set up some picks as well.
I think both these teams are happy with their draft, honestly, coming into this match. AHQ playing a similar style that they're used to playing. They have the tools to potentially snowball the game, which is necessary if you go against a team that is just better on the macro game. SKT comfortable with their choices.
And according to Analyst Desk, a lot of the members felt that for AHQ, their biggest opportunity was in the early game. Get ahead early and use that to steamroll further. Monty?
I'm not sure I agree with that, simply because of the average gold differentials that we've seen between these teams. Right now, SKT usually has a 5,200 gold lead on average at 20 minutes. Meanwhile, AHQ is at negative 329, so there's a 5,500 gold differential in the early game on average. That is a very troubling statistic.
Pretty sure you've just described AHQ's group stage. They're quite swingy in their performances from what we've come to see. They've picked the team comp that's going to either swing in their favor with those double TPs or against them.
I think the door is swinging closed, quick shot. We'll find out, though. We'll find out. I think this is going to be a good matchup for Faker. He likes to push the lane very aggressively. He's played this entire year, push the lane, get autos on the turret, take the mid tower, open the map.
Something we have seen, though, from that Diana pick in mid. On paper, it looks like it doesn't push very well, but the teleport solves a lot of the problems this pick faces around level 3 to 4, and then you can definitely solve that a little bit by just basing, getting some more mana, and start wave clearing.
Well, we'll find out how these teams perform on the Rift. You guys at home, for the first time today, is the door open or closed? Hashtag SKT win or hashtag AHQ win. Crowd in London is electric as the tournament favorites, SKT, are taking on the #1 seed from the LMS, AHQ.
The matchup I'm looking forward to most is actually just Bengi into Mountain. If he actually goes for any mistake in terms of pathing, revealing himself, Bengi has been just on point with punishing those mistakes.
Yeah, interestingly, Faker has decided to take Ignite in this matchup, which is a little bit of a surprise. I don't really think that Ignite Lulu is very good here. Sure, it's going to give you more kill pressure in the mid lane, but he has to capitalize on that. Bengi needs to show up early in order to make the most out of that particular summoner spell choice.
A bit of a show-off here between Wolf and Albus, but a defensive start across the line. Not a lot of deep vision down within the opening minutes, and Arn already starting to back away.
SKT's playstyle has been very top lane triangle, so top, mid, and jungle focused, while having Bang and Wolf play a relatively even/passive bot lane overall. They can do that with the Alistar. And also lane swap, AHQ looking to match probably the lane swap they predicted from SKT. SKT having none of that and say, well, we can take it 2-2.
A pretty passive level 1, actually. We've seen a lot of one-side invades or mirror invades from the teams, but this is going back just to the line of scrimmage, so not something that we've seen very frequently in terms of a level 1 at the World Championship, but looks like nobody wants to take any risks in the quarterfinals.
Why not? You don't want to give AHQ's team comp any sort of advantage, but mirrored starts. Junglers and top laners as well as AD carries and support all on the same camps, just on opposite sides of the map.
I'm curious what SKT's plan is. They want Westdoor to push in early to open up the possibility of a gank, but what Bengi's timing is going to be is very interesting. Before Diana hits 6, she is more vulnerable than most mid laners to these ganks, and so if you're going to take the Ignite, you have to make the most use of it and actually shut her down in the laning phase, because if you can't follow with TP later, your bot lane's going to have a lot of trouble.
Yeah, look at Marin pathing to the top lane. SKT was not expecting this lane swap to come out. They were just expecting HQ to go bottom and take a slightly unfavorable matchup, 2v2 early. So Marin pathed upwards, found the Thresh in the river, said, oh, we have a lane swap on our hands, but SKT should be fine to adapt.
Let's see what that small up in tempo will do. Faker already shoving the wave into Westdoor, as we expected in this matchup. Westdoor's going to take a lot of harass while trying to CS, and he's going to lose some of those minions.
Yeah, and this is, again, we need to watch the jungle mid synergy between these two teams. So what this is saying, Faker's shoving the lane in because he's trying to buy Bengi more time to get some levels, to get some buffs, and it's going to reverse the pressure onto him now. So it's about how he manipulates the wave right now. It's going to give us a hint as to what their plan is around the mid lane.
Yeah, Faker obviously leaning to the right side, the strong side of the map. That's where the jungler could be. Obviously, Westdoor doesn't know that. Sometimes we see these 4-man roams in the mid lane in the tournament as an adaptation to the relatively fast 4v0 push we have. But AHQ and SKT looking to go completely standard on this court.
Not taking any risk. Bang, of course, playing Tristana will have a little bit of a fast pushing advantage. First turret.
And this is a change because over in LCK we very often saw Marin just go back to the lane early, try to soak experience and not get punished for that. But it seems the Western lane swap style has kind of made its way to Worlds as a standard here, where both teams just straight to tower, bounce the way backwards. Either top laner and AD carry will share now for pickaxe gold, but the Koreans are actually fine just buying Avarice, so they don't even care about the pickaxe.
Very greedy of them. But yeah, coming into this, and we do see it's the European lane swap style, of course, with the junglers still going on the strong side, close to the majority of the members of the team to continue farming. So it is the EU that's won out.
Always stole the gold. It's like, Ziv, you don't need that gold. Sharing is caring.
Small advantage then to Marin in terms of getting that local gold. Tower's not even falling yet, actually, so it's going to get shoved in.
Marin intentionally bounced the wave off of that, looks like. Actually, no, looks like it barely didn't die right now, so a bit of an error in the lane swap would appear from SKT.
And this is something we see with teams that are just not as practiced in doing it over and over and over. When that last minion dies, suddenly the armor on that tower goes up again because the backdoor bonus comes back. And then that one hit that you were doing will be 2 hits or 3 hits.
a small advantage to AHQ in terms of the global gold. Ziv and Marin both TP'd up to the top lane, and the wave is pushing towards Ziv. As long as he doesn't throw down those decimates too frequently, play a little safe.
It's good adaptation from Ziv.
Aggressive play as well, connects to the Apprehend. Mountain with an optimistic burrow. There's no tower and no cooldown on Apprehend. So Marin says, I dare you, bro. He's actually going to push them out.
The awkward gank actually coming in.
It's not over yet. Now Marin's caught up. Furious bite. Again, Ziv needs to get in range. Down in the bottom lane. Arn's going forward. This is the man that we're talking about. Wolf down to 100 HP. Double flake. He's going to keep Bang back. Flash and heal and exhaust used for everything on the side of AHQ.
A bit of a mistake there from Arn popping his Ren, not taking into account that Bang still had heal available to keep his support alive, because he could have got 2 more Ren stacks, maybe then finished him off.
Good aggressive play from AHQ, both top and bottom. There is still a flash available. Ooh, Bang, he's going to rocket jump forward. Arn's got that explosive charge on his head. Opposite and they're moving forward, but just to trade it. Maybe coming away better from AHQ.
Yeah, you can see the change that was done to Alter W. This tower is low, so you should play as if it's not even there, because Bengi's diving.
It's 3v2, the tower's down. Albus will give up first blood. Bang, Bang, he wants to shoot them down. He's rocket jump forward. Bang's looking for the double. His 73 KDA, and the hunt for 100 is on.
Bang Bang, is Bengi shot them down? I think that's how that one should go. But
Damn it, Monty!
it's a very easy dive on that turret with it being so low and wasn't really respected. But if we watched Bengi's pathing coming in, comes in around the mid lane, gets a pink ward in, walks, so it's very, very safe in his assumption about where Rek'Sai can be, while simultaneously giving Faker the ability to play to the right side and pressure the turret.
So he's not greedy, he flashes for the cocoon. A lot of junglers here would just path around, trying to get an easy cocoon, preserving the flash. And this time, Wolves lands that combo. Earlier, he missed it a little bit because obviously Alistair W got changed. A lot of these supports just have the muscle memory from the old combo. But it lands a more important one. 2 kills here on the board for SKT.
Yeah, although things went well for SKT on the bottom side, in the top side, Marin's found himself getting a bit denied right now due to the little bit of an error in the early game and Mountain's pressure on the top side. So it's a bit of a deficit that Marin's going to have to overcome in this matchup. And Mountain's still playing the top side right now, but he is in trouble.
He really is. Marin is, as is Bengi and Wolf. Mountain is going to stick around. He's going to manage to find his way a second tunnel. There's another one ready, and Mountain gets out.
Well, tunnel vision on that Grump, but he makes it out anyways.
Ooh. Well, good setup for that, but Bengi missing the skill shot really hurt right there. Couldn't really do anything about that. Bold play from Mountain for the Grump, I will say. Makes me a bit nervous to see players do that, but he does get away with it.
Gentlemen, Mountain as well as Ziv got themselves an advantage over their opposite numbers, but Faker 20 CS up over Westdoor at 7 minutes. And Bang with a pickaxe and an Avarice Blade to the Vamp Scepter of Arn.
Problem with these junglers reverting to the side lanes, it just gives Faker an easy matchup where he doesn't get punished. Westdoor doesn't have the damage to take him down in one go, so he needs the assistance of his jungler, but he's busy trying to snowball top lane against Marin, one of the best, if not the best player in the tournament so far.
You know, Faker here, we talked about the CS differentials between Faker and Westdoor. Westdoor at -17, and we have a Grand player from Atlas, but Faker up at +16. So if this holds true at 10 minutes, we should see a 33 differential if the averages are going to be appearing in this particular matchup.
It appears to be the case for now. Approaching 10 minutes on the clock, and nobody's even really made a big move for Dragon. You can see Bengi on the mini-map, pulling some support from Faker as well with the deep vision they've got set up. SKT could opt to challenge around that objective.
And what SKT does well as a team is they don't buy into the traditional, okay, 2 members should always be in the bot lane, 1 guy should always be in the top lane. They redistribute their resources well enough to keep their losing lanes from snowballing further. Look at Wolf, who just showed up at the left side of the map randomly before, or well, looked randomly, with a purpose obviously, to then go back to the bot lane. Now he's helping Bengi take a blue buff down, and they're just working together as a squad.
Marin says, I don't really need the squad. Throws down a grand challenge onto Ziv, trying to run him down. Ziv has now got Noxian Might. He flashes with the Apprehend. Riposte has been charged, and both players trade ultimates, rather just flashes. Ziv's holding onto the dunk. But SKT Dragon.
Skirmishing on the opposite side of the map, nothing really happening right there. Marin being a little bit bold. He didn't have any vision on that top side of the map.
He was looking for, he was looking to pop the last vital there for the heal, but Ziv did enough damage. Here's Mountain though.
Mountain is, oh, that's a mistake. Maybe attack moved onto the Grom. Now he's in trouble. Does manage to tunnel, gets a double knockup. Ziv is going to look for the heal on the Decimate. Wolf's in trouble. There's no Unbreakable. And Wolf's going to be able to get away as Ziv had already used upper hand.
Yeah, that's the difference with you. Potentially a double killer for AHQ. You can't afford to make those mistakes against SKT.
A bit rough, but you know he still had his ultimate, so it was going to be a bit hard to go in on that. But they are going to lead this mid lane up. Bang is already in the mid lane. Of course, they have the ranged jungler release, one of the best combos here for quickly taking a turret. And so that little gang deep in SKT territory will be punished with the mid lane.
Yeah, SKT, they don't want to style on their opponents in the sense where we just want to outplay a 2v2. No, we use the pressure we have in lane to push up the lanes, and then we just outnumber you in another lane. Pushed in the bot lane there by Bang, moves to the mid lane, Siege Tower, picks up the farm in the bot lane. All is well on SKT's side.
Monty, you talked about the gold lead SKT has had on average at 10. Currently it's just over 2,500. Analysts here talk about the Dragons. SKT have secured 19, and they've only given up 1 across their 7 games. And their average game time's 29 minutes. So they're getting, on average, 3 Dragons a game, below 30-minute average win time. These are exceptional stats for SKT.
I mean, they're absolutely incredible, right? To have that much control over the Dragon. Each game, that means on average that they take 3 Dragons and their opponents take 0.17. So you're lucky to get, you know, a very small fraction of a Dragon when you play against them.
Maybe that's AHQ's goal this game.
Get Dragon.
Just get 1 Dragon to ruin SKT stats, kill Bang like once or twice to ruin his KDA, and then go home.
Have to kill him a few more than just once to ruin that KDA. Although, one more time we'll cut it in half, only a single death conceded. Mountain is sniffing out Wolf, who's still not level 6. There's no support for Mountain.
You can see Wolf just intelligently waiting right here until his jungler and his AD carry get into the top side of the map. Not taking any risks walking forward until he has backup and then heading around to cut off in the tri-brush.
SKT is sending Faker down to the bot lane. 4 people in the top. Westdoor has teleport. Faker is running the Unite, so this could potentially be a 4v5 here in the top lane.
If
or 4v4 actually.
teleports,
Never mind.
let's take a look. SKT decide to back away, and Faker's moved down to the bottom to deal with the pressure Arn was applying. Arn silently farming up a sizable lead in CS, as Bang has swapped around the map to put tower pressure down. He got the mid tower earlier, and now looking towards that top tower.
And look what they did. They sent Faker to defend to the far side against Arn. Then mid lane wasn't pushed in because Westdoor wasn't certain. Then Marin just TP's there. So SKT just not sticking to the regular roles. And for AHQ, if they want to find an opening here, we just need Westdoor to get behind people with the teleport and surprise them. Just assassinate them, make picks.
Especially with 2 TPs up right now to none. This is a golden opportunity for AHQ to really get into this game and start to make plays on the map. But you can see how cautious SKT was, just sending those 4 people top. They knew they were going to be extending deep, at least for a moment, so they wanted as much backup there as possible, respecting the double teleports. And, you know, in Korea, when SKT lost 1 best-of-3 over the course of the summer season, it was because they were not respecting double globals when they played against CJ Entis. I can really see there's a big difference right now in the way they are playing the map compared to that loss against CJ.
Also, just how far up their pink wards are in this game. Usually you see them defensively at the entrance of your jungle. They have 1 here to try to push behind Bang to spot a Rek'Sai flank, 1 on the Scuttle Crab, and they're just defending there as well. A lot of these teams, they place pink wards and then they leave the area.
Albus is sitting Bang. He's going to eat a death sentence and gets pulled into the box. He's going to apprehend his channel in the play. Cancels the rocket jump. The dunk comes down from Ziv, but it's Albus that secures the kill. Unbreakable Will is available for Wolf. He will flash over the wall. And AHQ will not chase further. They've got their first kill.
And it also ruins Bang's KDA, cutting it right in half down to, what, a measly 36 right now. So he's not actually going to hit the 100 mark anymore, unless we have some very interesting games in this best of 5.
Interesting may be the name. Flays backwards, pulls on forwards. There's nowhere to go. Bengi flashes over the wall. 1 from On, looking for the Pierce. Rends for a kill and throws Albus for good measure.
And this is exactly what AHQ is looking for, making picks without plays, using that play to cancel the rocket jump after Ziv already used the apprehend. Now Westdoor, he should be able to do some damage to Marin in the bot lane.
We're going to force him away for the time being. The London crowd supporting the underdog. Mountain is being forced away by Faker, and all of a sudden AHQ have a momentum swing in their favor. They're still down in gold.
And they're down in control on the map too. They're down in that dragon. We can take a look at this little play again.
Yeah, Hook comes out, and now they have 2 cancels for Rocket Jump. So Ziv does a smart thing, just using his to get more damage. And then the Flay. On paper, it's easy, but to do this in a tournament against a player like Bang, whoever tries to mind game, you know this is a good play. You know he's not going to instant Rocket Jump, so you need to predict it.
Really was nice communication there between the Flay and the Apprehend, like you're saying, to make sure that only one of those was used initially to pull him in, get him a little bit closer so you can get the damage down, and then saving the other for that Rocket Jump. Great execution by AHQ.
And thank you, Stats guys. Bang has spent 27 seconds dead out of the 220 minutes of gameplay SKT have had at the World Championship.
Probably asked the referee, like, why is my screen gray? Guys, is this a bug? Well, tick.
Someone turn the filter off. SKT will get their second dragon of the game. It's no contest from AHQ.
Problem is for AHQ, whenever they make a pick, they have a hard time capitalizing on objectives because SKT plays such a high pressure style. They're always doing something. Their vision is so far up, so even when you kill somebody, the route you take to the next objective. Here's Bang, actually reporting that bug.
Reporting the gray screen bug. Well, we are in London, so it is awfully gray. You know, in general, sometimes I think I'm dead when I'm outside.
I saw the sun yesterday for 10 minutes, I swear. It was there. So we do have a brief pause as we've crested 15 minutes. AHQ maybe slowed down some of the pressure that SKT was putting on them, but the vision is still fairly in favor of SKT. And Mountain's got a good tunnel network that he's been using to his advantage.
Yeah, and Westdoor doing the prime strategy not to die against Faker. Don't lane against him, just go to a different lane.
Split pushed against Fiora instead, try and get Marin down. And yeah, they're holding out their own so far, and they're playing the kind of game that I think they need to play to be successful here, because team fighting against SKT's composition in the late game isn't really an option. Once Fiora gets that heal down, if Fiora gets wild growth in the middle of a fight, that is absolutely terrifying. A fed Fiora can just tear through an enemy team.
Yeah, definitely. So On and Albus have been playing well though so far.
Yeah.
A couple of plays in the bot lane, forcing double flash. Then they make every death so far from SKT has been at the hands of Albus. Initial hook there in the top lane, flashing in for a flay there when Bengi was in the river. So overall, they're not afraid to make aggressive moves. They may just have to ramp it up a little bit more if they really want to snowball early game.
Well, 15 minutes in, they're going to run out of time before that early game is officially over. Ziv, as you can see on your screen right now, he is having an issue with his monitor. The tech guys believe it is resolved. They're just doing some checks and tests on stage before we resume the game. And Ziv, 10 CS down. He had a higher CS advantage early in the game, but Bengi showed some love. There was some support from Bang and Wolf, and Marin was able to farm up that difference.
Well, they've also been using teleport for farm, right? We've seen AHQ holding on to their TPs to potentially set up plays, but there was no hesitation when we saw the Fiora TP right into the mid lane to collect that wave. We've seen SKT just holding firm, having a freeze at a tier 2 turret. They've been really, really focusing on getting this CS on Marin, and that's really been the story of this tournament so far. Marin has the highest gold per minute of any player at 448, and SK Telecom is the only team in this tournament where the top laner gets a higher percentage of gold than either the mid or the AD carry. Actually, both the mid and the AD carry. Sometimes one or the other, but never like both of them with a higher percentage.
Marin has been hard carrying so many of these games, and SKT have just been outclassing their opponents through many of their laning phases.
But this may change this game, however, because Marin was slightly behind in the lane swap, and Faker, he was phenomenal at CSing overall. 31 CS up at 10-minute mark here against his opponent Westdoor, who now has said, well, I like my CS on another lane, I don't want to battle that Ignite Lua for it, I'm just going to avoid you. And SKT hasn't really played to their strengths of the composition just yet, which is group sieging. Having Marin split push, drawing somebody away on that Fiora for duelist, and then just sieging with that composition, throwing out cocoons. Bang only needs like 5 seconds with a tower, and it'll be gone in 20 minutes.
Well, for AHQ, they do have some strengths in Ziv and An. We'll see whether or not the two of them can pull enough attention from SKT as we rejoin the game. Mountain forced to flash away, still playing maybe overly aggressive in SKT territory. Not enough support from the rest of the Korean squad, so AHQ get out. They do lose a summoner.
Just one down though, and Mountain has been living in that topside jungle, really making it difficult. And if you're playing on the red side against blue side with Faker on it, that's where you want to go. You want to attack his blue buff so he doesn't have the lane pressure.
And you have to do that because you need the deep wards, because if AHQ is going to make any proactive TP plays, you need vision behind enemy lines, and that's what they're looking for right now. That's phase 1 of the plan. Get that vision, lure them out, and then surprise them somehow with the double TP.
So, Grand Challenge is down again. Maren gets away, forced a flash. Ziv is looking for the decimate. That burn's not going to be enough. And Ziv, again, coming out better in the trade. Faker, he's going to wild growth up. Westdoor gets the reset on the Crescent Strike. He's got that Pale Cascade shield to prevent some of the damage, but Faker comes away looking better after the fight. HQ are not done yet, gentlemen. They look to contest this red buff, and they're not backing away. Fate's Call is available, but Bengi will smite it. At least it's a resource denied from back.
They're getting control of the jungle, but they have to start taking these turrets, so they are going to smoothly move down into that bottom side, start getting some damage, and SKT tries to get an angle to defend.
If this goes bad though, there's a ward all the way behind them that Mari can teleport to.
Ziv has his TP up as well, and SKT defend the tower, defending their 1,500 gold lead as well.
They can shut SKT off though. They've removed a lot of resources to defend that bot lane tower, but now they have no wave clear in the mid lane, so that should be open, and this is exactly what they were looking for. Using the pressure from that pick potential to zone them out of the jungle. They can then take an inefficient route, and now Ziv, he gets back in time for the top lane.
Yeah, just catches that wave right there. Makes sure that Maren can't split push down the tower, so some really good moves on the map from AHQ right here. Just getting into both sides of the jungle, making sure they set up the vision, and then cutting off SKT's defenses properly. This has been a really well-played series of events, and it's put AHQ back in this game now, only down 1,000. They've been slowly recovering that gold differential.
Yeah, some good rotations here.
Very good, in fact.
HQ are going to need a few more of those magical moments if they want to get a lead. They are still down. Maren has got that Hydra completed as Ziv is going to apprehend him backwards. Decimate comes up. Grand Challenge again is thrown down. Noxian Might is burning. Ziv's looking for a target, but there's no flash to follow. But Ziv, once again, winning the duel with Maren.
Yeah, and he's doing a good job not exposing his vitals to Maren to get that heal on that ultimate, so he just really wants to keep his torso, aligned with Maren's. You're not going to stab me in the side or back, maybe perk 1 vital overall. And by the time Maren could be done with it, he's already dead.
Oopsie. Westdoor just missing that pink ward as he moves into the blue buff area. Faker still pushing down the bottom lane. So AHQ win a fight up top, but gonna lose a lot of hit points on this inner turret.
And there's no teleport wards again. They really need to start placing deep wards when they leave a lane. Instead of focusing all the wards in the jungle, they should push up the lane, leave a ward there, because somebody's gonna push it out again, and then you can surprise them, because nobody expects lane wards. Everybody expects jungle wards for teleport. On the lane, that's where you make those proactive TP plays. And Westdoor, I don't think he's used teleport almost a single time, maybe just to get back to lane once.
Yeah, there really hasn't been that proactive. They've been making plays without teleport, which is great, but they haven't taken every single opportunity that they could to snowball their lead or try and get back into this game, rather. And one thing that we really haven't talked about yet is what this is going to look like in the late game. So SK Telecom, if we just look at their composition, AHQ is eminently kiteable here. They have a very low engage composition. Westdoor can get in there once, but he's going to have a hard time following up after that. And when we're talking about champions with a high amount of mobility, Fiora, we have Lulu with the kiting, the glitter lance. It's going to be very hard to actually teamfight for AHQ lane.
Luckily, SKT have found Mountain in the jungle. Teleport's coming in from Westdoor. Ziv's in a little bit of trouble. The wild growth is up as well. And Bengi just gets one. Mara and Iska arrived to the party after teleporting in, but that was just too easy.
I mean, just coming in off of that, they set it up well with Wolf. It comes back to the wards they got deep in the jungle earlier on. They did a great job of sweeping it out and just following up on the wave. And finally, AHQ tries to make a TP play, but they do it while Maren has his as well. And so it's just not the same effectiveness that we could have seen earlier in this game.
Yeah, headbutt into double pulverize here from Wolf. Not weaving that combo in together, just maximizing the cooldown on that, and then just focusing on Rek'Sai for the reset. Really good just utility from Alistar right there. And later on in these fights, later in the game, when Westdoor is diving in, Wolf can actually trade his life and can stay alive for long enough with that Unbreakable to just trade his life with any of these carries of AHQ, and then it's going to get rough for AHQ to find an answer, so they really need to start making better picks.
A lot of pressure on AHQ. Inner turret on the bottom lane does stay standing. Small solace, but lost control of their jungle, lost control of the tempo of the game. And with Dragon up in 20 seconds, SKT have got pretty good vision, phenomenal vision even in the blue side area of AHQ to allow them to set up for that Dragon. as finally Westdoor secures that outer turret in the bottom lane.
Yeah, and they started with a turret deficit. Now AHQ has made good use of the split push to take a turret advantage, and this is what they have to do, because they cannot fight. They have no way to kill Bang in the late game. Once the rocket jump comes in, he's got the buster shot to get targets away from him, so AHQ is just going to be absolutely kited to death. SKT, what do they want to do? Keep stacking dragons. Right now, just get to the dragon on time, get the priority on that objective, and just kite out AHQ when they contest.
Because after 3 or 4 dragons, it would actually put priority on HQ actually having to stop the dragon. That will lead to a team fight. That's where SKT is stronger. If you want to do dragon, not only do you get a lot of benefits in those team fights from those stats, you also just force the enemy team to fight you over that dragon eventually, unless you can close in 30 minutes. AHQ will not be able to do that.
Yeah, and again, SKT gets the priority on the dragon. Bang is there. Here comes the TP.
Ziv is going to look for a party. The death sentence finds no one, but Westdoor's looking for a flank. Wolf has gone forward. Unbreakable will time out shortly, and Westdoor forced to flash defensively. Bang zoned him away. Dragon's still standing and ticking. Albus looks for Morin and interrupts the lunge. The wild growth will save him for a few seconds longer. Ziv on the front line, but as Mountain gets away, the grand challenge heal is up. Morin gets apprehended forward. On still on the back line. The ring is going to get ready shortly. Morin eats a decimate. He will go down. A 2-for-1, and AHQ may get Dragon.
Oh, that was so close. That hook from Albus almost tugged Bang back into that fight. And SKT is actually one of the teams that fights incredibly well 4v5. They're not afraid to re-engage or take a fight where people overreach to clean them up and punish them. That was almost a turnaround, but solid play from AHQ overall.
Yeah, and Westdoor had that flank in there, which made them unable to follow up on the Wolf engage. That was really the critical part of it. They burned Wolf's ultimate, and they have to keep fighting like that, but Faker's in trouble.
Well, Bang goes forward with that rocket jump. He's going to get Westdoor. The explosive charge secures it. Now can rocket jump forward aggressively, and Bang finds 2 more.
And this is exactly the playstyle that got Bang to that initial 71 KDA. He's not a max range player that just waits at the outskirts of the fight. He's not afraid to jump in, get the restart, get another kill, and then jump out.
And does it perfectly. AHQ did win the Dragon fight and secure only the 2nd Dragon that SKT have ever conceded at the World Championship. Unfortunately, 2 more kills to Bang, who's now 4-1 and 3. Currently sitting 500 gold more than Ard, and will extend that once they knock this tower down.
Yeah, but On's been doing a great job of taking that empty lane farm. We've seen while Marin has been far back near his tier 2 turrets, so is On this entire game, so it's kept him relevant, even though Bang has gotten quite fed already. So now that gold lead will extend to about 700, but considering we're talking about 1-1 and 2 versus 4-1 and 3, that's actually not too bad.
Certainly is not. Static Shiv has now been completed for Bang. Morin continuing that split push threat on the bottom lane.
It's almost getting to a point where a minor loss against SKT you can view as a win. Oh guys, we're only 800 gold behind.
I mean, to be fair, AHQ have had some pretty good moves this game. They out-rotated SKT to secure some towers. They won a team fight around the Dragon Pit, secure the Dragon. Problem is, they're giving up too much in between those positive plays. It's allowing SKT to maintain control.
And we really haven't seen Faker use this Ignite to any effect, and as the game drags on, they'll have fewer and fewer ways to deal with AHQ's split push, so that is a bit concerning at this point in time.
Let's take a look. Apprehend does not find Bengi. I'm going to use that blade active, but not going to get anything more, and Bengi will clear tunnel and a ward on the way out.
Something we haven't seen from the Ignite, obviously, is the pressure it puts on Westdoor. Westdoor may have just not gone on in certain all-ins because of the threat of the Ignite. That is obviously a hard thing to see, because those are like invisible plays. The same way some people don't go for certain farm because they're afraid of potential teleport. It's incredibly hard to get into the minds of these players. Maybe that's why Faker took it. We can only guess, but not want to question Faker. Not after I went against him once in a vote saying Royal Club would win. Never again. Never in my life.
Long time ago, back when Monty was still driving trains.
There's no hype train this year, you know. The hype is real. It's manifest.
It's absolute.
Yes, it's the reality train now.
I like that. I like that. The reality train.
The Korean dominance reality train.
That makes you a reality star, Monty Cristo.
I don't know how I feel.
Is that an upgrade or a
No.
downgrade to Shoutcaster?
That makes me feel very bad about myself. Thank you.
SKT were able to knock over the mid-inner turret, while AHQ regained some control of their blue buff, but they're still hemorrhaging gold, hemorrhaging farm, and being forced deeper and deeper back into their own lanes.
And this wave clear coming out of SKT just pushes AHQ back. As a result, they can't get deep wards. Without deep wards, they can't set up teleport plays. They can only play reactionary on teleport. SKT is too good of a team to really get caught, and slowly but surely, they advance their gold lead until Baron becomes an option really on the table. And SKT, they don't go for those early Barons. They only take Barons when they want to close out the game. In 4 out of 6 games, they actually smash the Nexus with the Baron buff still on them. Just shows just how they value that objective.
Yeah, the first Baron buff, nonetheless. So yeah, just taking...
Not any, just like the single first Baron they took. Baron to Nexus is 3 minutes. It's like a race for SKT against themselves. It's like one of those ghosts in Mario Kart.
Turn on the 3-minute clock and see what happens. Well, trying to defend here, but again, the wave clear still pretty close to that turret, so they keep getting bottled up. They only have a single ward in that bottom side jungle right now.
Extended siege here for SKT. There's not enough close wards behind them for Ziv and Westdoor to make use of, and SKT will just face tank to secure their 5th tower kill of the game and increases the gold lead to 5,000. Allows them to set up vision, minutes and a half till Dragon. There's even going to be wards for SKT to play with and force that next Dragon fight if they so choose.
It's a quick recall, get that gold down, start turning it into items. Looks like Faker going to be going for Witchbane here. So trying to maximize his auto attack damage does make sense, considering he's going to get a lot of autos simply because of his kiting potential against AHQ's composition.
And AHQ, they're just going to run straight at SKT too, so he's going to weave in a lot of auto attacks. Skull Crab buys him 90 seconds of time.
Small advantage for HQ around the Baron pit. SKT have made no real moves towards that area, and you know, on 270 CS, 3 items completed. He is going against Bang with the same 3 items, but gonna need to be the man that can fight SKT, the Marin more specifically.
You can already see.
HQ want to win a fight.
You can already see the emphasis SKT is putting on that mid lane control right now. Faker doesn't want to let anybody move up far enough to challenge him on that push, because that is always step 1 to securing an objective that is either Dragon or Baron. It's pushing in the mid lane first. Then you can go to the side to put deep vision. SKT already have the deep vision, so all they have to do is push mid, go Dragon.
Marin set up on the bottom side already. Ziv actually coming in from behind.
Teleport, first proactive player.
It'll be a little difficult. Challenge is down. 2v1 for the time being, but the rest of SKT are nearby. Ziv flashes forward. Wild Growth will interrupt the Noxian Guillotine, but Marin is still low. Westdoor's looking for Faker. Remember, Wild Growth has been used. Westdoor goes golden. Wolf is going to immediately get rid of that death sentence, and the first kill will be Marin down. AHQ looking to retreat. A lot of their tools have been used, and Bang's got a red buff. Crescent Strike connects, Death Sentence does not. Bang flashes forward. It's going to be a Fate's Call to save Albus's life, and Bang rocket jumps. He's got 1 crit onto Arn. Arn uses that heal, and it's a 1 for 0, but AHQ should lose Dragon.
Yeah, they're just going to go right back. I mean, so many members of AHQ just chunked out right there on the retreat thanks to the Whimsy catching up that Tristana, and Marin's up at 15. He's still got teleport. Let's see if HQ, they're actually going to contest this. Ziv coming in.
Dragon secured by SKT. Bengi with a respect flash over the wall. And there's even blue pings on Baron. Do AHQ risk rushing?
They could actually consider it, seeing how far they're behind and how they lost that fight, even after getting initial pick. What worries me the most is that they actually had Ziv stuck in that brush. Marin was not aware. They could have teleported Westdoor 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds earlier for that finally proactive play. But it still was a reactive play. He waited for them to start fighting, then he teleported in. So there's a distinct lack of communication here on AHQ side.
And they invested so much too. Look at the number of wards around that Dragon. They still ended up losing it. The Baron pit is totally dark right now, and SKT, they start to play the top side of the map, they start to push it out. They don't want any wards getting in there. They're trying to force a fight. The best thing SKT can do with this composition against HQ, force a face check, walk backwards, deal the damage, clean it up with Tristana resets.
SKT, it sounds so easy, but they've played safe, and despite being caught a little bit off guard, this is one of the more competitive games SKT have had to deal with at the World Championship. HQ showing they're almost there. They cannot afford any more mistakes at all.
We've talked a lot about SK Telecom, but the fact is they had a relatively easy group, and with EDG not looking anywhere near their former selves at MSI, it was tough to get a read on how good they would actually be. And AHQ, they have given us the most competitive game of the tournament so far.
Yeah, take a look at what Bengi and Wolf are doing together. Not only do they roam the map together, Bengi bought the more expensive items that the team needed, as in Locket of the Iron Solari, whereas Wolf is heavily invested more in vision. He even has 2 pink wards in his inventory right now. Well for dynamic vision. We'll get to that later though, because Westdoor...
I think he's down. Ziv will be nearby, but I'm not sure he wants to be. The heal from the challenge will just top off any damage that was put down.
Yeah, SKT is just willing to take a pick and then move up their lines of vision. That's why Wolf is bringing 2 pink wards to the party, so he can continuously keep moving them for optimal positions, and then eventually SKT can secure this Baron.
Might be a little risky. All of AHQ are nearby. 3,000 hit points. Wolf is trying to get rid of Mountain. He's interrupted him for a while. The Apprehend pulls Marin back, but that's not the one you want. Exhaust is down onto Ziv. Bang's looking for On. The Flay will not find a target. Marin, he'll get a heal from the Summoner spell and stay alive. Bang's looking forward. Ziv will get shut down after being turned into a munchkin. SKT get Baron and 2 more kills.
Yeah, Wolf should be playing goalkeeper Alistair. He's really keeping everybody out of the fight.
And just coming into that fight too, that was all a function of SKT having the vision control on that top side. Westdoor should not have been pushing out so far by himself. That was a huge error, and SKT as a team, they can turn that 1 pick into a Baron. They're not going to give you a chance to get in there because Wolf will play that goaltender. He'll be on the backside shoving your jungler out.
Gentlemen, the countdown timer has started. T-minus 3 minutes until SKT victory. 4 of their 6 wins. That has proven true. Will this be number 5?
Yeah, we need one of those 24 clock sounds, you know, at the end, last 10 seconds.
Audio guide, make it happen.
But yeah, the amount of closing, SKT only, we talked about it earlier, they have 7 dragons in their 7 barons in their 6 games, because all they usually need to finish a game is 1 baron. That's what they need. 1 game against EDG, they took 2 barons, closed the game with the 2nd baron buff still live.
That was the style baron, Crepo. Let's take a look at this one again. So you'll just see Wolf head out. There's a buster shot actually that goes out first. So actually a bit of a miscommunication there from SKT. But immediately after the Baron, they're over the wall, they're fighting. Exhaust down onto Ziv nice and early. And Bang has the wild growth on it. He knows Marin's in trouble. Marin's calling out for this, and just beautiful play as they come and sweep up behind the red pit.
Yeah, Marin walks out of the fight long enough to survive, reposts the next attack, then he gets a shield, then the cavalry comes in with Bang there, not afraid to move in.
Oh! Hey! And gets almost 3 shots, summon a heal and flash. But it will cost an inhibitor turret. Albus has been hit by the Glitterlons. Teleport came in from Marin. This battle is split on 2 fronts. Marin and Bengi will most likely kill Westdoor. Arn's here, but he's simply too late. Inhibitor's down. Remember that ticking time bomb. SKT are looking towards the Nexus, and Bang is already on it. The minions arrive. The explosive charge will secure 1 tower. Cocoon buys time for SKT to take down the 2nd tower, and SK Telecom will hold true and finish the game with Baron to go 1-0.
Wow. Well, that was the ending. I didn't think we were actually going to get it that time. Quick shot, considering they had to pull back pretty early, but they come in about the last 30 seconds of that Baron buff, and they make it happen.
Yeah, SKT ruining their own Baron power play stats because they end before the buff even wears off. So efficient at closing. Tremendous to see.
Bengi's distraught about Bang's KDA right now, apparently.
You have failed me.
34 minutes. It was this is going to sound like a weird line, but it was one of the slower wins from SKT. I felt they paid AHQ the respect they deserved when it came to pushing the lanes. We didn't see SKT out of position. Unfortunately for AHQ, we did see them out of position, and they were punished for it. They lost a Dragon, they lost a Baron, and they can't afford to make those mistakes.
It's so hard, right? Because you make one mistake like that. Westdoor wasn't even in that big of danger, but because of the vision that SK Telecom had after the Dragon, they had done the setup a couple minutes previously, denied everything with those pink wards, that it makes it extraordinarily difficult to even push up like that. And you make one of those mistakes against SK Telecom. I mean, just looking at their Barons, they get something like 24 minutes as their first Baron in the game. We talk about post 30. You make a mistake, the Baron is theirs, they will close.
And just looking at their plays, SKT's plays on the map post 20 minutes just makes so much sense. It almost looks easy, it's simple when you watch it. It's like, they're doing this because that obviously is their next step. And you think, why are teams not countering this? Because they do it so efficiently. Yeah, they're going for Baron. Yeah, they have vision. Okay, Baron's lost.
Yeah, and it's easy for us to take a look at that and say, okay, this is what they're doing. But these guys are trying to play the game, talk to each other with incomplete information, and they're still making these calls 1-2 minutes in advance, setting up everything so beautifully. It's really impressive to watch.
It really is, and I think a little bit of praise to HQ as well. They did show some good rotational play. They did show some understanding these Mountain are playing aggressively in the jungle. For a little bit more, we're going to head to Shox in the interview lounge to talk about SKT's first victory in the series.
Thank you very much, guys. I'm joined here by Freak and Clement to talk about that very first game.
They really like you.
I think it's you, Freak. Anyway, let's talk about this first game. AHQ showing some good things. Let's go.
Touched on a little bit with the Elise combination as well as that Ignite, the unseen threat of the Ignite. Crepo helping Faker get that.
I mean, you don't know. It might just be the unseen threat of Faker being in your lane overall, but that's something, I just think it's an interesting topic. So many things we don't see. We see plays not being made for certain reasons, whether it's the threat of a teleport, because we see the wards on the map and we're like, oh, they don't have any deep wards, they can't teleport. SKT obviously don't know that, so maybe that's why they hold back, play a little more pressure somewhere else.
They always had that option. You know, Spawn touched on it, what we touched on at the beginning of that game, which is that is the kill pressure is there no matter what. So you always have that chance, and they weren't punished for running a single teleport.
All right, AHQ continuing esports tradition by banning Azir. They're going for the longest ban streak of a single champion.
Mordekaiser would like to catch up, and Gangplank banned again. So out of the last 17 games, 16 of them have had GP and Mord now banned on the red side. SKT broke that trend by banning it blue previously, but what will their last ban be?
Yeah, just poor Westdoor, man. Doesn't like playing Azir, bans it all the time, then he gets nerfed, he's like, okay, that's off the list. And then right before World, people start playing it again.
So trying to set up for an Elise first pick here. The question is, will SK Telecom let them have it? Or are you going to ban Elise and try and force some potentially deeper jungle pools?
Jinx and Fizz are both up, both of which were banned on blue side in the previous game. And final ban will interestingly be the Jinx.
Yeah, this gives Bang a Kalista if he wants to as a trade. So now AHQ Esports Cup need to see what do we value more, aggressive AD carry, aggressive jungler. It will be the Elise. I think it's the smart choice overall. But it doesn't really put Bengi in any compromising positions. There's plenty of champions he can play.
Yeah, taking that Gragas too, you come in with that initiation, you could break up the fight, which sets up Kalista very, very nicely, just to get a target in that backline, continue to hop around and get the Ren damage in, and it will be the Kalista for Bang.
Yeah, the problem is, do you take Alistar away from Wolf? Not really, because he doesn't lane that well into a Kalista. It's like a shotgun lane. You need to kill her in one blow or you're done for. So in that sense, we may just see Albus pick Thresh again, and I like this Thresh, honestly. Combined with Elise, there's a lot of outplay potential.
His death sentences were particularly good. Talking about Bang, undefeated on Kalista, still
11-0 in professional play to this point in his competitive history, but the Tristana's up, and a lot of people like that pick into the Kalista.
I just love this lane. If you run Ignite on support, Tristana, Thresh, you need to flash aggressively at one point with Thresh to really win that matchup, but you can tear down a Kalista and just out-trade her, because especially since the nerfs, on every auto attack except maybe the first two, Tristana just wins the trade. The only way Kalista wins the trade is an auto Q proc with E on a minion to reset then.
Coming into this, it's not just that matchup. Obviously, SK Telecom knows they picked into this matchup in the last game, favoring it themselves, but it's about that dragon control, that objective that SKT really, really likes to play around. And the Tom Kench.
And this solves all your problems if you get all in at one point, if you get that mark from Tristana. I believe the Tristana AoE doesn't actually do damage to the Kalista in Tom Kench. I believe it works like that. People have different opinions, so I will actually track it right here. But in my games, when I played against Tom Kench, I didn't do any damage as Tristana.
Coming in, also the Rise being hovered right now, and that is going to be a flex pick for SK Telecom. So a deceptive draft on the red side. It was banned out by AHQ in the first game of this series.
Hey, I read Reddit. Tom Kench is also a flex pick if Faker wants to run an AP middle.
Also jungle. Bengi's been playing it on a US solo queue in that jungling role, so we don't know where it's going yet.
Deficio is a firm believer in Tom Kench jungle. I'm putting words in his mouth. I'll let him explain it next time he's on air. But yes, we're expecting that Tom Kench to be support for SKT.
And the last times Faker played Rise, he kind of got into a bit of a troublesome situation that he was the one first being focused and he couldn't deal as much damage as his teammates because he was still scaling up. That was like the only negative part about Faker, where he draws all the attention and then dies and his team aces them. Tom Kench now solves that one problem he has, and if it ever gets to late game, he will just blow people up because he's a fantastic laner, especially in terms of positioning with that Rise. He's not afraid to pop his ulti to go aggressive past the minion wave and just start zoning people.
Yeah, and we've seen the early kills against Twisted Fate, I mean, it's going to be that coming in from Westdoor. And this is a match that Faker played very, very well against Pawn.
I still think it's a good matchup for TF because if you don't really misplay, you can always stop the Rise from really chaining you over and over with a gold card. The only breaking point is whenever you throw a blue card for mana or you just throw a card on the minion, that's when Rise can flash. So look for those little timing windows right after you pick a card, you use it on the minion, that's when Faker wants to flash in. That's how he got that solo kill against Pawn too. So in that sense, it's a skill matchup, but obviously Westdoor can teleport to different lanes and see if he can help his teammates.
And for Westdoor, he's currently 2-0 at the World Championships on Twisted Fate. Played in the group stage to great success. A little bit of time left on the countdown here for Marin. He's currently looking at Nar, but they swapped to Renekton at the last second. He dumpstered Darius in the group stage on that champion.
I like the pick because it's an earlier top laner, an early game top laner, but you have a late game scaling mid laner, so you don't need any more late game security blankets. You just need somebody to get you through the early game, and we've seen what he can do on our Renekton.
And also, this combination of Gragas with Renekton, with Rise, you have a lot of kill pressure in the lane phase, a lot of single target crowd control. If Bengi throws in an ult in the late game, it's going to bounce people into SKT, Rune Prison, or the Renekton W, and that's going to be it. The single target damage is absolutely crazy. You can really see for SKT how these team fights are going to go. AHQ, they've got the Tristana for fast pushing, but again, another pick composition. They want to skirmish again.
AHQ gonna need to get a lot of helping hands in the early game, considering the strength of those side lanes, and also considering how well Marin has already demonstrated a mastery of that Renekton into Darius matchup.
Yeah, and Wolf running the exhaust here, really good against Tristana because you can just wait until the marks on 3 auto attacks left from completion. Last 3 auto attacks deal less damage, then it explodes, and suddenly your entire all-in gets ruined.
I love seeing the Rise again here too. This is an insurance policy. This is the third game that Faker will be playing Rise here at this World Championship. You noted that yes, they have the early game top laner, and so they have a very smooth power curve, and Faker can just take over the game should it go to 40 minutes.
Yep, heading into the next game right here. Tweet at LoL Esports if you think AHQ is going to win, hashtag AHQ. And if you like us, think SKT is going to take it, hashtag SKT win.
Well, we'll find out shortly. We're loading up onto the Rift for game 2 of this best of 5. SKT with an early advantage out the gates. And they've got themselves an early lane strength in Marin's top lane. On and Elvis, can you make up the deficit against Bang and Wolf?
You know, I'm a bit intrigued to see Wolf play the Tahm Kench here because it's not something he's really shown before. Coming in, he didn't play it in the group stage, he didn't play it in Korea. So the mind games are going to be real coming into the semifinal match if SKT does go through, but they have at least started to show something else.
It also just gives you an extra practice game. It's kind of hard to call a quarterfinal here a practice game, but you want some competitive experience because scrims versus online obviously is offline rather is definitely a different environment. And I just think every support going on from quarters into semis should master the Tahm Kench because that pick could be big and potentially in the finals.
Well, we're seeing it grow as the World Championships are continuing to play on.
That's disgusting.
I think it's fascinating, personally.
SKT and AHQ with another defensive start. This time around, An is moving up to the top lane. Actually, again, they started the lane swap last time. SKT caught a little unawares. And it seems like we're going to have another lane swap set up to try and, I imagine, avoid that Darius-Renekton matchup.
I'm a bit surprised that AHQ has prioritized that Darius just because we've seen so many lane counters from SK Telecom against it. They've shown a variety of picks. They've been able to deal with it probably better than any other team so far. And Marin, he's a hell of a Renekton player and he always has been. So it's a very big comfort pick for him.
Nice. Tank started E there. That's interesting. Usually people start W on the Kalista. Did get changed so you can get less passive stacks there. The E for just maybe some easier push if he was expecting a 2v2.
And early level 2 there to Albus. Is he going to roam to do the typical versus SKT strat of gank mid lane?
There is a ward, and we saw some blue ping, so HQ is aware of that ward that SKT plays, so that's why Albus is changing his pathing here.
Yeah, you can see the delayed ward coming in, the trinket ward from Faker, just to make sure that they were protected on that side in case anything was going to come through. So interesting early ward pattern here, and that's going to keep the Rise nice and safe against any level 2 gank shenanigans.
Has managed to save or stay alive. It will time out very, very shortly.
Yeah, that's why Albus is waiting.
Yeah, he's gonna die. Did not have vision of the area, but look at the mid lane. Westdoor lost a very early trade against Faker. He's already burned through his consumables. And Faker does have that HP advantage and the wave pushing against him. So very comfortable and safe on the scaling mid laner.
And I think from watching Faker play, that is one thing that separates him from a lot of other mid laners, and many pros have come out and said it when they played against him. He challenges almost every CS you take. Whether it's by attacking you or simply moving in your general direction, having the pressure. It's like a million eyes are watching you CS, and Faker is in your face. And if you mess it up, not only is he going to laugh at you for missing that CS, he'll punish you with an auto attack. So it's incredibly hard to farm into Faker overall.
Especially when you have to be this far forward. And Bengi now going to wrap around. He will be seen by the Trinket Ward.
At least coming in from left side though. Westdoor, he's making it obvious that he has backup though.
Yeah, not playing scared at all. I think SKT
Faker
take
knows.
the bait.
So Bengi's not gonna go for the gank. Instead, it's gonna wrap around to the bottom half of the jungle. On Albus, as well as Ziv, we're pushing up the top tower. That should fall shortly, as SKT will take down the bottom outer turret. And you can see statistics on the Twisted Fate as well as that rise.
Well, it's one of Westdoor's legendary champions, right? He's been known for playing TF for years and years and years in the time when he's seen. So it's something that he's going to be very comfortable with, but he has to make it work early here because they're going to need a large gold lead to deal with Faker's rise. Come the late game, he is running the teleport this time. He will be a formidable split pusher.
Yeah, and this time so we see both towers go down here, waves being bounced, but you see Marn doing the smart thing. At the start, when these waves started being bounced after T1 died, people did an endless freeze, but they actually met too much resistance from the lanes coming back into defense. So what Marn's doing right now, he knows there are people coming, likely to be on and Albus. So he actually pushed in the wave a little bit, so he doesn't deny himself any potential CS. And you could see that reflected in the CS score right now as well. He's at 14, whereas Ziv immediately based to pick up that massive wave in the top lane. Bengi, however, is here for round 2.
Body slam is not going to connect. Bengi did not follow it with a flash of his own and gets Westdoor's.
Yeah, but that is huge because Faker is playing very close to that tier 2, and Westdoor must have a flash in order to really CS in that particular situation. And now we see some movement up into the top side.
That's exactly what we were talking about. That's why you push that lane back earlier, because otherwise that massive wave stacks and that freeze actually becomes a massive push against you, and you actually lose all that farm. Look at it, Marin doubling the CS already from Ziv, and Ziv's tower just going down here with the help of those minions.
On is going to push down on the bottom, so they may be able to trade. Mountain and Albus going to arrive a little late. Westdoor also teleported to the mid lane, so he doesn't have that available if a play were to break out. And Marin, has he maybe taken the bait here? Not enough minions to fight. Albus, Ziv, Mountain.
It's a party.
They want a new pair of shoes, and it's crocodile skin, the make they want. Slice and Dice is available for Marin. Gonna get the stun onto Arn, and slices and dices away. Arn will follow with the rocket jump. Faker teleports in, kills Ziv on the back line, and Marin escapes.
You can't make that mistake right there. Faker hadn't even been back to shop yet. He had no items, so that was a very good dive situation. But Marin plays the slice and dice through the lane, and Ziv has nowhere else to go. He has to run through that turret, and Faker just locks him down. With no minion wave under there, he's going to take a lot of hits.
That was one of the sickest plays I've seen. Marin coming back, gonna have to clear that wave. Hang on, let's see if he survives so we can actually talk about how sick that was overall.
Death Sentence connects, the Flay will not. Repel comes down and Mountain's in trouble. Faker, no mana though, which means AHQ get away with their lives for now.
Yeah, Marin, he denies the dive by keeping the wave outside of the turret. Then he waits there, he doesn't path into the river, just says, okay, you wanna come? Walk to the tower. Faker collapses, kills somebody, but then Marin, you can slice and dice through somebody, but he stood at the very edge where his slice, his initial first dash, would actually just not proc the dice, but he just procced a tiny bit of area of an enemy champion right there to proc the double slice and dice. That was a phenomenal play, just getting out of there, maximizing the distance. And
oh, the Sentinel, I don't think it's going to see them. The Death Sentence does! Bang gets caught by a cocoon, and the Flay holds Marin in place. Arn is going low. Marin will not be able to get the kill. It's a double for Bengi. Elvis takes a few turret shots, but should get away alive.
you don't rely on Sentinels, you never do. Those things don't see anything, they're broken. They walk in, it's like they're blind. You can call them blind monks. You don't do that.
Not living up to their name then.
No.
So to be fair, twice now Bang has been caught by a death sentence from the bush. And Albus has been standing in, yes, last game and this game, but it results in 2 deaths and a tower for AHQ and a swing in the gold lead.
Take a
Yeah,
look
this
at
is exactly why you don't do that. I mean,
Whoop. Saw that one coming from a mile away.
and then you know, by the way, if you're an AD carry, you know that there's a chance to be like, I mean, come on, how likely is it that they're still in this rush? I really want some CS. Everybody talks about Faker and Marin farming so well.
Bit of a push up here, and there's a stun onto Zip. Zip turns around for a moment, but Bengi's here.
The body slam connects. Zip's going low, gets a decimate heal, and flashes forward. Finds the lantern. Albus looks for the death sentence, but will not find it. Scores a 3-pointer between the posts. The minion wave continues to get shoved in, but flash burn for Zip.
We also have to look at what's going on in the mid lane here. Faker's CP is down, so is Westdoor's, but his ult is up. You can see that as they start to make that play, Faker begins to push very aggressively into that mid lane to prevent the TP from actually coming through and reinforcements on the top side.
Wolf is... Who's in trouble here, actually? It's Mountain, and a quiet taste. Wolf is going to spit him back out. The rappel's got nowhere to go, but Westdoor wants to help. Cocoon and Goldcard have landed. Bang, flashes forward, now has double buffs. Goldcard will hold him in place for a little while longer, but Bang will find two. Will not be able to get shut down. Kill credit to Wolf with the regurgitate. And SKT just regain control.
Yeah, and if you pick TF into a late game scaling matchup, you need to make that first ultimate count. You need to get a kill, potentially an objective in the tower. All Westdoor does is just sacrifice one more kill to that Tahm Kench here. Really solid play here by Bang and Wolf. Good synergy already. Kalista, Tahm Kench, you can see why it's such an important lane if they can close the gap on you.
We saw Origin yesterday do the Kalista Tahm Kench combo.
Yep.
Somebody alive and pull them back
me.
with that Fate's Call. Bengi's going to be a bit cheeky to take these strikes. There was no vision on him. And AHQ none the wiser, losing one of their camps.
But lagging a little bit behind in vision here. We haven't seen those side stones coming out from the junglers yet. So there's not actually anything you can really take right there. The control really hasn't been grasped yet by either of these teams.
And then the problem lies here again, reactive play, reactive Destiny from Westdoor instead of a proactive play where you really want to set up that gank and you play with incomplete information, then well, they need to play with respect. If you don't, then you find yourself in situations where you lose your one global, your ticket to a kill, and then SKT picks up another dragon.
Easily secured on Albus and Ziv. They're looking for Marin, but they will not go for the dive. There's actually deep vision for AHQ all the way through the jungle and the lane in the top half, the top quadrant, but they decide against it.
And they're just working with the deep vision they have on the bottom right side of the map. That's why you see Marin go back. At the start, people got cross-mapped very often. Origin for a team actually got cross-mapped sometimes. Faker wants to go in, card goes down, and he pops Westdoor.
Will not be able to find the overload connect as it hits a minion. And that means Westdoor is forced to flash defensively.
You have to be so careful about that. You can't make those kind of errors. He saw Pawn die in a very similar way. You know Faker's not going to take a moment to really pull the trigger on that flash and go after you. And not having a flash on Westdoor is very consequential because of the single target CC on SK Telecom. It makes him so vulnerable. That is one of the keys to this mid lane. We're talking about Renekton, Rise, Tahm Kench. He has to have that flash up or he's a dead man walking.
Yeah. Now, the onus is, it's all on Albus right now to pull him out with Lantern if he gets aggressed upon. You can really see the trigger for Faker right there. Card comes out, instant flash right off.
Westdoor will have the support of Albus's Lantern, but nobody from SKT is going to look for aggression there. Instead, they're grouping up to look for vision. AHQ have a momentary numbers advantage. Flash over the wall from Bengi, instantly gets devoured by Wolf.
And another Destiny.
Yeah, and you have to, SKT, they see just Gragas getting caught out right there, and they take no risks. Flash over, go straight into Tahm Kench, run away, and that denies any follow-up by AHQ. They put themselves in a risky situation, but they instantly back out.
Tongue lash onto On. Wolf with Bang, or Bengi rather, just behind him. Bang is down in the bottom lane. The teleport's coming in here. Let's take a look what AHQ can do. Faker's charging up that passive and expended the TP. Deep vision gained, but not a lot more, but it does allow them to loop around, do the same play again, and punish AHQ in the future.
I mean, it wasn't the greatest TP, obviously. It was a reaction to Wolf getting hooked, but they still have the pressure. They get more wards down there. They're able to push up to the tier 2 and start to get some damage down onto that mid lane turret. So the TP is expended, but they are getting something for it.
Yeah, the main matchup here that is really faltering for HQ is Westdoor against Faker. 0 proactive TPs, 0 proactive Destinies, 2 for 2 used. SKT force a fight when they're all relatively close to back each other up. Every time any member of SKT takes a risk, except Bang maybe facing a rush, there's already somebody ready to help him on the map. You see Bengi go in, he has backup. You see Wolf go in, Bengi backs him up. They're working as a team.
Yeah.
Doing it again.
Well, there's no real way for AHQ to get to this mid turret quickly, so they're going to take a lot of damage, may not actually lose it because SKT Siege isn't that great with a Rise Ballista. So they can't stick on it while the minion wave gets thinned out.
Luckily for SKT, there's a ward very deep in AHQ's jungle. Mountain's trying to clear out what he can. And with Marin having teleport available, he continues to push top. While Arn is pushing out the bottom lane. But again, SKT, they're just laying a SKT flag in AHQ's jungle every single time they push forward.
And unlike last game, now what we saw last game was that while SKT was dominating the bottom side of the map, we did see AHQ reciprocate by taking over the opposite side of the jungle. This game, there's virtually no wards on the top side for AHQ, so their counterplay options are severely limited right now because they literally have no information.
Yeah, and SKT doing a phenomenal job just shrinking the map, and Destiny just becomes worse and worse the harder the map shrinks overall, because you can't find an opening to a side lane where you can then 2v1. Even if your Destiny's in right now, there's always another member from SKT close enough.
And the reality of Twisted Fate is if you can't get deep wards in, if your team can't get deep wards in, when you start to want to combat the Dragon and the Baron, Destiny then has to be used just to see where the hell the enemy team is, and that becomes a major problem that you're using it for vision only.
And it brings 0 combat stats to that fight around Dragon, so you work vision is your advantage and knowledge is power and all, but if you don't have any vision, you go down with, compare the ultimate from Faker to a Destiny and Dragon fight. That alone spells out the entire way that fight's gonna play out.
Luckily for AHQ, this wave pushing bottom has brought a little bit of vision in the jungle. Unfortunately for AHQ, SKT have started to clear that out already. 1 minute and 20 seconds until this next dragon spawns. SKT secured the first one, and Faker's just going to use that desperate power to shove the wave in as quickly as possible. Even going to get Westdoor to TP again, not proactively, defensively.
Yeah, and it's so frustrating for AHQ. Whenever they clear a pink ward, 2 more take its place. Hail Wardra.
Hail Wardra. I want one of those. I assume as a support player you'd love that item.
Yeah.
Just
double up every
whenever
time.
whenever you lose one, your Sightstone just gets 2 wards back, right? Balanced.
Makes for very exciting games against WE.
Not difficult to deal with at all. So, AHQ, what have they done for the last minute? They shoved in the bottom wave, defended the mid tower, but it's very clear they want to make a play around this dragon. It's just become a ward war for information.
SKT doesn't really need this dragon. They've got #1. They're scaling. Westdoor caught out a little bit.
Or maybe the other way around. Bengi, in fact, in a little bit of trouble. Albus has flash. Good explosive pass, but the satchel rather, will secure the kill. So numbers advantage to AHQ. Westdoor is low on mana. If a fight continues to break out, Ziv has arrived. Fate's Call now pulls the catfish in. A big tool to keep Wolf alive is no longer available, and AHQ may make a play for the Dragon.
AHQ did a really good job of pushing up all the lanes before that happened. SKT still around the side. Here comes the ult from Tom Kench.
Let's take a look. Pistol Voyage is going to bring him into territory, but SKT flash over the wall. Ziv will lose his life as AHQ secure Dragon. SKT may be able to get a tower out of the deal as well, so advantage SKT.
And that's what they do so well. Whenever they lose a member, they're still willing to look for an opening and immediately act on it. They don't hesitate. They don't fall back out of the area assuming everything is lost. SKT so good to find these little picks whenever they could see the dragon or a kill.
And they don't need that dragon either. With dragon #1, they have the scaling advantage in this game. Faker already has 2 kills. He's been up in CS this entire game, and he is scaling with the tier, with the Rod of Ages. So the fact that he is winning his lane right now, and that we're seeing approximate parity in gold, indeed SKT a little bit ahead. There's no dragon snowball quickly here for AHQ. So this is a good situation for them to be in. There's no need to fight that dragon, especially after Bengi gets picked off.
Safe, smart play from SKT. This time around, Westdoor does not have the same CS disadvantage that we saw from game 1, despite the fact that he's been flashless multiple times. The only problem is he spent all of his time on the back foot defending his farm, and now Westdoor
knows.
may get caught out. He's in so much trouble.
Bengi has been pinged out, but there's no play left for Westdoor to get out of here.
No, there is not. The barrel comes out from Bengi. A body slam is going to be enough. The kill will get secured by Bengi. 2 assists for SKT.
Yeah, Bengi doesn't go in with the body slam either, because that is the only way that Westdoor can get out, flashing over the body slam. So he just holds, waits for it to force a flash, then chases with body slam. Luckily, Kench was waiting too. Here's Faker though.
Gentlemen, there's a fight on 2 fronts because Arn's in trouble down bottom. Ziv's caught out in the middle. Here comes Bang with the red buff. Fate's Call holds Ziv in place. Arn gets away alive, but Ziv cannot say the same.
Yeah. Bang says, licky tongue, I choose you. Now faces Steam Rocket in the mid lane.
Oh boy. Where is the Pokeball, the Pokemon Master Callista skin, Crepo?
He's waiting. That's right, it's gonna get that copyright anytime now.
Pretty sure that's gonna work out.
Please?
SKT, 6 kills to 3. They've got a 3,000 gold lead, a tower advantage, even on Dragons, and content to play the scaling game. There's Ziv getting caught once more.
Yeah, body slam flash. Bengi, so far in this game, has been doing a lot of body slams, but not flashing after, just to force enemies flash. This time he really wants to commit to Ziv. Perfect combo, and you can see how hard it is for Ziv to get out of there. He's so confused that he actually flashes into the wall too, adding some insult to injury.
Well, he wasn't even that far out either. It's hard to... He was playing on the far side of the lane, away from Bengi, where he knew Bengi was. He wasn't that far out from the turret, and he didn't know that Bang was running down the mid lane right there. So very well executed play, but you have to hit that flash body slam before, and then straight into the ultimate. So he wasn't even playing dangerously in that situation. Just got outplayed on the map by SKT.
Seems to be the story of everybody that plays against SKT. Despite momentary glimpses of positive play from AHQ, can't keep that up.
I mean, it's not only here at the World Championship, right? It's in Korea too. If we look at SK Telecom in the summer season, they were 17-1 in best of 3s. And overall, in terms of games, so far, including the World Championship games, they are 44-6 since their loss at MSI.
That's like an 88% win rate. That's over 50.
Insane.
Very impressed you did that on the fly. SKT will pull the Baron. Fate's Call is available. Wolf wants to look the knock up and will not get an acquired taste for Arn. They need to back away. As Wolf continues to play aggressive. SKT completely in control and daring AHQ, daring them to contest any objectives.
Walking into this Baron is a very dangerous thing for them, and they have so much single target damage. SKT, oh, there's a grab, but...
Yeah, Albus is following through. Bang is going to get spat out, and the double TP comes down for SKT. Faker and Marin, they're looking for blood. Defensive flashes as Westdoor's arrived, and the Abyssal Voyage will deliver to Westdoor. Mountainsman split from the herd as Arn is in the river. Faker should get one more. Mountain gets away. Smites for a little heal. Westdoor killed by Marin. Arn's going to try recall in the bushes, and it's just retreat, scatter, and pray for your lives. Arn will find Bang. Devour's available, and Wolf eats him, saving Bang.
No damage.
Spits him
Told
back
you.
out, and there's no damage. Crippo was right. The barrel bonk comes down, and Arn is out for the third of the fight.
Love how everyone is holding their breath. Is he gonna die?
Is it gonna happen?
No. No, because this is SKT, it doesn't happen.
Also, we did see a spider was squashed in the jungle. The corpse of Mountain unable to escape.
I just love that interaction where Tom Kench eats his AD carry, including the chain. Just keeps on hanging on there. And then it's support Cinder, right? It's like my mind's telling me no, but...
We've discussed this before. You don't fish for catfish with a hook. You noodle, you stick your arm in there. So Blitzcrank is the counter, not Thresh. Just go in there.
Hang on, Faker again, part 2. Albus learned his lesson right now at SKT. This Baron's going low.
This is close. SKT secure Baron, but Ziv is the sacrificial lamb. He gets taken out. Westdoor left for dead. Double kill to Faker. And it looked scary for a brief moment. And gentlemen, start your clocks. The 3-minute timer to Nexus defeat is on.
Take a look at what happened here, and that's not how you fish for catfish. So here's the problem. Tries to reel him in.
He is fishing for a Callista, though. He gets an involuntary catfish, which is the worst type of catfish.
The involuntary catfish is the most deadly, is that right? Now this is a chase down from here. Great Abyssal Voyage to set
Good
this up.
exhaust.
Get the exhaust down afterwards, even though he gets hit by the gold card. Flash W from Marin. And that's all she wrote for Westdoor. Faker, in the meantime, is going to find a rune prison.
And look at Bengi. Even if On could get away, Bengi's going to find
The
him.
Rise delivery system.
He's going to work perfectly, and Faker goes 5-0. That Baron was secured around 22 minutes into the game. It is one of their earliest.
Yeah, but all banter aside, you just see the power here from that pick here on Wolf, that Tom Kench just being able to deny any potential damage. It is essentially a zone S on his W, and you just move the target around too. It's impossible to focus him down. Now Bengi, he's feeling...
Is there enough damage? Westdoor's got the red card primed. Wolf will say nope, and waddles to victory.
I mean, there's always a chance of Fate's calling there, too.
Yeah, exactly. You
So
can pull, you can
save
reposition
two
people.
at the same time. It's kind of ridiculous.
SKT are pulling it off exquisitely. Dragon soloed by Faker, their second of the game.
If you bind a top lane Tom Kench with Kalista and you play Thresh support, there is a really interesting chain that you can do. It's like cross country on steroids. You can get from fountain to fountain in like under.
It's a terrifying thought, Capo.
The clock's running out though.
I'm sure somebody on YouTube has done it. AHQ committing everything to Marin, and it's the dunk from Ziv that gets the kill, but how much of their base will they lose? Fate's Call throws onto Mountain. Wolf will devour him shortly. Repel goes up into the air, and he should get... No! The Lantern pulls him away! Mountain stays alive, and the inner mid lane turret will then get killed. Bang will look to Albus as he's knocked back by the explosive cast. Another tower falls in the bottom lane by minions. So yes, you killed Marin, but hashtag not worth. Faker gets apprehended backwards, only to murder Ziv, take down Westdoor, and break open the base. SKT are looking for minions.
Faker is being put in positions for kills by both his teammate and his enemies. First Tom Kench spits him out, now Darius apprehends him. He's like, well, I guess I'm here. I can kill two guys and take the tower.
And find Mountain under that turret. Faker just going ahead and face tanking it. And there's he going to go down. Bang with the kill.
Another kill secured. SKT have got an inhibitor from this Baron power play. They may not be able to finish by the time it wears out.
Oh, it's done.
Because it has done, has completed, and Wolf will escape with Bang. Unable to block that damage, but what an exceptional play. 25 minutes in, 10,000 gold lead. And Supers in the mid lane?
It's been fun.
I can tell, Monte Cristo. But it really is a beauty to watch, just how great SKT play the map, play the skirmishes. Every call seems the right one.
I just feel so bad for Albus. It is already hard to land death sentences. Land them on Korean players is even harder. Flashing and then landing them on Korean players is even harder. When you do that, you really should be rewarded with a kill, and then Tom Kench is like, bomb. Nope.
Total denial there, and
Faker teleporting into the base.
hello.
And the Abyssal Voyage.
Oh my.
Albus is in so much trouble. Westdoor will get a gold card into Faker, only to lose his entire HP bar. Exhaust will hold Albus in place for a while longer as Wolf looks to single him out. Gets the Devour, will regurgitate into Bengi's waiting hands. Body
Bengi.
slam comes over the wall. And Fate's Core pulls him back out. Another knockup can come out here from Bang and Wolf. They decide not to go under the tower, instead playing it safe and going top.
Noah's gonna be mad. You don't interfere with supportal combat.
You have to do the one-on-one.
Just watch them.
They're just going to transfer right into this top side right now. Marin pushing the way forward. So some very aggressive teleport slash Tom Kench ultimate plays right there. Nearly get a kill, or do get a kill rather, and then moving down and finishing off another inhibitor.
And with super minions in the base, SKT look to secure another Nexus. Ziv is being focused, and despite the death sentence, finding Wolf, the rest of SKT are destroying the turrets. Bang is hunting for Westdoor. They're going way deep. An auto attack plus flash secures it, and SKT peel backwards. Body slam will find AHQ, but they're on the defensive. Everybody is being killed, even under the fountain. SKT are one game away from a semi-final placement and a battle against Origin.
Well, another solid win for SKT. They really amped it up that time. Much cleaner play after the warm-up. They get the rise once again. even though they were starting on that red side and we had so many bans coming out from AHQ, they let it through, and Faker really delivers, gets absolutely huge on that champion.
And when is SKT actually going to lose a game at this World Championship?
I don't know.
Maybe never, according to most. In terms of this particular match, though, the lane swap for AHQ helped hide Ziv a little bit. Marin did not have that same level of dominance that he did the last time Renekton into Darius, but it didn't matter because Faker just got so far ahead on Rise so early.
Well, that's the thing about SKT, right? Someone else steps up. We've seen what happens in the group stage when Faker is focused down early. Marin gets massive. He's the one who's carrying the game. If everything doesn't go to plan, if they don't get that Renekton Darius 1v1 and start snowballing early, well, Rise is there in the mid lane. Again, the insurance policy, he gets big, the game is over.
Also, AHQ is simply not playing to their strengths. They're running a double teleport composition with a TF ultimate. That is triple global, and they're just not utilizing it to make any proactive picks here overall on the map. So the first two Destinies both were reactive. Once with full vision, he actually...
They have many more strategies they can play that they haven't shown yet to cover it up.
And then you cover all of that with the fact they can easily swap out players, prepare a new strategy off air, and challenge that. EasyHoon has said in interviews a couple times, played 2 group games, that he wants to prove his worth. Jinx and Diana taken away from AHQ. Azia and GP taken away from SKT, and another blue side Mord ban. SKT going against the grain on that Mordekaiser.
Well, this is one of those times with the Azir ban that you really wonder about AHQ, because coming in, I think this is the 28th game in a row that AHQ has had to ban Azir because Westdoor simply can't play it. And that's a massive hole in your champion pool in the current meta.
You can't come to a World Championship not being able to play one of the meta picks. It's just simply not possible. Last year, every sport should have been able to play Zillion, Alistar, Janna too.
And we'll find out if it's going to hurt AHQ. This is potentially their last game of the World Championship, and Albus will get threshed once more.
Yeah, complete mirror from game 1 in terms of picks, at least. It's coming out, at least first pick, because obviously that's the way the bans went down. Thresh Kalista comes down. This is where SKT1 initially went for a Tristana combination. They could actually get a less mobile AD carry and just pick Tahm Kench to solve that problem.
Right, remember the Rise was banned in game 1. It was the Lulu in the second game, so Tristana Lulu was the draft. Faker.
I swear that's a grin.
Faker initiates smile.exe.
It's super effective, and for SKT, will at the last second swap over to Tristana. Not going to go for that low mobility AD carry. Instead, get the tower pushing power that Tristana will offer, and all the safety Tahm Kench brings to the table as well.
Yeah, Tristan to Kalista is just probably the textbook counter right now, and if you play the game well enough, like SKT1 does, it is probably the best pick. Bang even, like, he faced like a couple of brushes. That's the only mistake SKT have really made this tournament.
You look at the player cams, AHQ just look defeated already.
The Rek'Sai lock again. The Diana pick was the one here from AHQ, but this time they have no inkling about what that mid laner is going to be. And Westdoor throughout the group stage was very confident in blind picking certain champions like Fizz. Diana's banned out this time, so the Fizz coming in, he's going to go out like he came in, I guess.
7 seconds.
He looks
Grimace
agonized by this pick, but there's the lock.
Let's take a look. That lock, is that locking the door closed behind you or unlocking the door in front of you?
Probably asking in team chat, any mid mains here? Anyone? Wanna play mid? Multi-role talent.
For SKT, they need to lock in their solo laners, and this will give Ziv the opportunity to counter pick. However, Ziv has just run Darius as a very last pick, almost entirely. Need to see where he's going to go with that option.
Very curious what he's going to lock in here. A bunch of assassins hovered over by Bang as they decide. Haven't seen a lot of Kassadin this tournament yet, but does have good survivability up against Fizz.
Played once or twice if memory serves. Marin will get his hands on Fiora, so double assassin comp from SKT, no traditional frontline, and you've got all the safety of Tahm Kench.
Well, very low wave clear, but they don't see the Tristana, they don't see the Jinx on the side of AHQ, they have the Trist, so there's not a lot of pushing power right now, so SKT is pivoting this game. They see the Fizz come out, they're saying, well, you can't fast push us, We don't need the wave clear. We will simply play your game and beat you at the skirmish game.
If AHQ don't get a damage source from their top lane, they could just run out of damage as the fight plays on. Ziv gonna go with Darius once more. Another last rotation Darius pick into the Fiora up top to round out AHQ's team composition.
Yeah, just full on skirmish mode. No wave clear, probably the lowest amount of wave clear we've seen in the entirety of Worlds. If you combine all champions here, just full on skirmish and very snowbally either way. So in that sense, if AHQ gets ahead, they can start punishing SKT, but
I feel like I've heard that before, Crepo.
yeah, but what else are you gonna say? I mean, come on.
Yeah, and it has to happen with Faker. Faker's the one playing with the TP here. We saw him play with Ignite and Westdoor with the TP in the first game. They are going to have the higher mobility. Faker doesn't have the most experience on Kassadin. This will only be his 8th professional game on the champion, but he is 5-2 so far.
And again, Wolf bringing out the exhaust to just deny some of that damage. Really good against Fizz because you can get it in as he's dashing in, prevent some damage there. You can deny some dunks, and just with the Devour again, you can just, once the target's bleeding, you can deny the dunks simply by just eating your ally. And we need to see if AHQ can finally start playing around this Tom Kench, because Wolf, he almost carried that last game as a support, just with a denial.
I definitely want to see the interaction where Wolf on that Tom Kench eats a target that's been hit by Chum the Waters and see what happens to that giant Urf. We do see the team compositions, guys, on your screen for potentially the last time for AHQ. It's 2-0 in favor of SKT, and Faker is running the second Kassadin of the World Championship. It's game 3 and possibly the last of the day. Jump on Twitter, let us know who you think will win.
And this first Kassadin was actually played by Pawn against H2K, and I didn't like the pick there because I thought it could have been punished very hard because EDG did take a lot of low wave clear. They made it work in the early game and they ended up taking a victory there. But this time around, I feel the Kassadin pick is very, very safe for SKT because AHQ simply does not have the tools to punish it.
Yeah, in the laning phase itself, you just want to get that Q out as Westdoor's charging at you to deny that initial damage. Westdoor obviously wants to use Playful and Tricks to deny most of Faker's damage, so it's a very skill-heavy matchup. And a lot of auto-attack trading in minions will decide how that lane goes. Hook goes wide here, so Albus started with Hook. Bang did not get caught, and that's a 50-50 though. Any point in that brush, Bang could have technically gotten caught there.
Cheating up towards the top side though, because the Hook is usually thrown through the bottom part of that brush, and
perfect synergy here. It's like synchronized diving.
That's the deepest ward we've had in the early game before laning phases started, and I think both times AHQ have been able to initiate the lane swap. It doesn't look like they want that this time around.
Maybe our first time here with standard lanes in this series. So we've got that coming in here as both of the dual lanes start on the bottom side.
Crowd cheering for Fallen. Remembrance Day.
It's just a eulogy, you know.
Eulogy. E-eulogy?
The E-eulogy is coming when SKT's next match happens, Bravo.
Hopefully it doesn't happen tomorrow. All the fans in-house. But Mirror starts once again, except on the side of AHQ. Their top and junglers starting on the Krugs up top.
You can see Westdoor, he's actually starting Playful Trickster because he knows if he trades into Faker with Q, he will lose his trade anyway, so he just wants to dodge the damage and do return damage with that Playful Trickster. But then he has to be careful of trading in melee range.
A bit of a different start this time. They don't give Aldous the level 2, instead just sharing that experience as they know that 2-on-2 is going to be coming. Ziv hits level 2, same as Marin, and both will simply walk into that lane.
Take an early burst of damage as Wolf hits Albus for a couple of autos. Death Sentence finds a catfish, but I'm not really sure. I'm gonna jump in there. No grey health means that will hurt Wolf for a little while.
Yeah. It's a good trade there from AHQ overall. Waited for Albus level 2, he's now level 2. Bang wastes his explosive charge on minions. This could be opening up for a trade here. Look at Albus, he knows because that's why he's walking forward.
Flay hits, Death Sentence follows, and Wolf just breaks the chain. To the sounds of Kreplin.
Well, who needs to trade when you can just eat your AD carry and keep pushing the minion wave with explosive shot, Kreplin?
Marin in a straight up lane, winning the early level 2. We're not over yet. Albus, he really wants to go in. The flash play. Death Sentence will get interrupted. because Wolf will eat bang on. Flashes defensively backwards. There are teleports available if someone wants to play. Wolf is low. He's got a bunch of stacks and the rend comes out. Albus is stunned. Here comes Faker. He's going to look for the first kill of the game. He should get it. Null Spear. Auto attack for bang. First blood SKT.
Yeah, and every time Bang gets eaten by Wolf, what ends up happening is just a flay of fish. Just one target gets hit, and then you can't get to the 80 carry. That hook just went wide. He completely got put in the mouth of the Tahm Kench and just gets denied.
That's why you need the Blitzcrank to get the hook in there so that they
Pull him
can
out.
actually just pull him right out, pull him to you. Instead, it is the natural counter, just like in real life.
Fortunately, it didn't work for Afromoon. We saw him playing Blitz in the group stages. This is your Bang and Arn stats, Tristana versus Kalista. But what a great positive use of teleport at level 3. Something we did not see from Westdoor in the 2 previous games.
And this is what's so good about this matchup coming in, is because Faker has the freedom. There's virtually no punishment from that. The Fizz can't get the tower damage down. He's not going to do anything in the early game. So you have total autonomy to make teleport plays on the bottom side. And when you commit like that, like Albus did, with the flash coming in, you have to expect that Faker's going to show up.
And the one game that Westdoor opts to not play teleport, he actually goes for Ignite. Bot lane skirmish happens. His mid laner that he's supposed to beat them 1v1 gets a free assist, goes back to lane, and then picks up the wave. So his Ignite's already being somewhat nullified right here. So things just getting worse here for HQ.
Difficult starts in game 3 of this series. Let's see a moment ago in terms of the items. Pickaxe already picked up there for Bang with his first blood gold against the longsword of Arn. This is going to make a very difficult lane for a matchup that was already in favor of SKT.
SKT looking calm and collected on the cams right now, as it's like they're sorting out an issue with Wolf's PC.
Yeah, client issue on Wolves should be resolved quickly. You can get back into games. You can keep eating Bang every single time. You think they'll learn though, after like 2 games of Tahm Kench, it was a nice flash and flame, then you can't go for that hook. You know Devour's coming.
And somewhere backstage, Kobe is pulling his hair out. He's the most excited Tahm Kench caster off air, and he's not had a single game yet. It's very depressing, sad times for Kobe. But
Way to rub it in, quick
for
shot.
Wolf, I just gotta get it in there, just throw some of that salt out. But for Wolf, Monty, despite having no competitive professional experience, showing a great master of the champion, great synergy with the rest of his team, and decision-making, when to use those ultimates, when to devour the respective teammates.
Well, and that was one of the questions coming into this tournament too. After MSI, after Wolf's last performance on the international stage, indeed his first actual performance on the international stage, because SKTS never competed internationally, was he going to have an issue with nerves? Because he really didn't play up to form when he was in Tallahassee. But here he's on a new champion. Remember that his first time playing Nautilus support was in Game 5 versus EDG. Comes here again in a pressure situation with a new pick, and he is delivering.
Okay, Mountain and Albus pathed together to the right side of mid, because Westdoor, instead of doing the fast push, which he can't because he's Fizz, actually put up a bit of a freeze to deny CS from Faker. He's now 7 CS up, and there's an additional 6 CS extra in that wave that's coming towards Westdoor, so you can actually get significantly far ahead. Mountain's pathing in right now.
Well,
Faker knows though.
It's a party in the mid lane. Mountains here, Wolves here, Bengi's nearby. Even Albus had moved up into the river. They're still taking far too much damage, forced to back away, and this wave should reset slowly in the next few minutes back towards Faker.
He's trying to deny as much as he can though, while Westdoor is going back. Mountain is just pinned to this mid lane right now, trying to keep the wave off the turret. So SKT just buying a lot of information, a lot of time right now.
Yeah, HQ just going too far in that freeze. Sometimes you sacrifice too much trying to preserve it, and then Faker actually ends up 2v1ing here. In the top lane, we see a beautiful counter here from Arn on that Darius spin.
Yeah, nice riposte, and we've talked about this matchup being very good for Fiora because you have the riposte and you have the dash to get out of the decimate as well.
And backup for Morin as well. Bengi's sticking in that tri-bush.
Here he goes. Bengi's pathing so far in this tournament has been fantastic. Finds himself behind Ziv again.
Morin's even flashed for this one. Bengi's moving forward, holds the cocoon until it's point blank and undodgeable. Another kill to SKT. Westdoor does not have Chum the Waters and not going to be able to do anything to fake it in.
I really like the way Bengi played that because he waited. He knew that Ziv's flash was still up. So he was waiting. There were 2 conditions he was waiting for. 1, Ziv flashes, he cocoons him afterwards. 2, he gets low enough that they can kill him during the cocoon duration. And we have some... Wow!
Fake is going to get killed. Westdoor follows the flash. May not survive. One more hit. The melee minions chasing, and Westdoor wins the 1v1.
Didn't even follow the flash. He predicted the flash right there. Fantastic fist play overall here. Because Faker flashed very late. He didn't instant panic flash. He waits for Westdoor to almost land, and Westdoor just predict that this is going to happen, so solid play.
Has the potion ticking too, but nicely done by Westdoor.
I predict a slow-mo zoom in from our observers.
Ignite right there. Wow.
My prediction not as good as Westdoor's.
Really nice. Really nice stuff from Westdoor. And that's why he's one of the few players who has the balls to blind pick that Fizz.
Need to see if it'll work out for him. Mountain's going to come up to this top lane, show face. Marin has got access to Grand Challenge. Ziv, not yet level 6, but down in CS. So Westdoor, flash burned, ignite burned, and a small CS advantage. Need to see if he can continue to snowball that lead, whereas Faker's TP, very close, 25% of the cooldown left, and then Faker may look to impact those sidelines.
Oh, here we go. I know how this story ends.
Yeah, they've learned a lesson. Oh, it's such a disgusting matchup for Thresh. It's like you don't want to focus Wolf because he has great health, and then you don't want to focus AD carry because you'll end up in his belly anyway. So what do you even do in this matchup?
Lose mana throwing hooks.
You see him farming relatively well. Apprehend gets pulled back onto Marin. Ziv has got Noxian Guillotine and Flash. Might was up, and Marin again at this stage will get pushed away. Spawn will be happy to see the matchup playing out exactly as described in the analyst desk.
Nice use of Blazeful Trickster right there. He really knows the limits. He's 2 levels up on Faker right now, so feeling very confident and doing quite well in this lane so far. Oh! Ooh.
Ziv flashed for that one.
Just took a turret shot, so Marin's gonna back off. Mountain has to be careful.
You saw Bengi earlier. He was dueling vision on Bengi though. Goes in on Marin though.
Not enough. Marin manages to survive. Bengi's now going to look for Mountain. Finds a cocoon. Has the support of the minions. Westdoor was roaming, but not going to get in range. Mountain's going to back away.
Yeah, there's no counterplay to that yet because SK Telecom has started to lose this mid lane battle. So they can't really play aggressively around this. Westdoor, that level up again, and he's going in with the fish.
Let's get some good damage down, but doesn't follow through with anything more. Stone or Playful Trickster. Westdoor's increasing at CS difference, plus 13 as we get closer to 10 minutes. But he needs to do a whole lot more if he wants to make up the gold deficit that his entire team find themselves in.
More farming right now, so no big action coming up. Of course, we do have a couple of TPs available for Ziv and Faker's just going to use his to get straight back to that mid lane. Doesn't want to lose any more farm on this turret. Force pulse off while he can.
Doesn't have flash, but Ziv will once again be dueling Marin. I really feel like we've seen a lot of the plays this series multiple times, gentlemen. Yeah, devours from Wolf, the lunges from Marin. But Marin's still farming exceptionally well, despite being pushed back, despite the duels that are trying to set up.
They have that gold lead. They're going to be happy scaling here. It's about getting Faker and Marin online again and into a split pushing form, because once we hit that late game, the double teleport's going to be very important. Mountain going to tunnel in here.
Let's see if they can make this work. Abyssal Void, this is aggressive. Going to deliver bang to On. Exhaust is being used. On has no summoners. Is going to have the Devour in a moment. Wolf is tanking with the Grey Health. Bang gets the kill. Wolf props the Grey Health, and he gets out alive. SKT get themselves one up in the top lane. Mountain still not pulling the trigger. In fact, he's backing away.
That was an incredibly bold tower dive, knowing the limits of those champions so well.
Yeah, just the execution there. And then the little hesitation at the end of Wolf there, where he's like, do I save my AD carry? No, I can just spit him in for the kill, because Buster Shot was still available. Tanks his tower, juggling tower aggro with Devour. It's like an Elise dive too. Really creative usage, and that's something we haven't seen too much from Tahm Kench players. Using that Abyssal Voids in your lane to make these picks, and that's just good knowledge of where Albus was on the map too, because if he randomly showed up at any point in that exchange, that could have been ugly.
And Freak was talking about this earlier, but that I agree with him entirely. That is the hallmark of a good team, just being able to do these creative plays on the fly, not knowing the situation, and that's been a use. As we see Tahm Kench it's been awesome to see him develop as a champion in professional play over the course of this tournament. More and more people are figuring out the limits, what you can do with him, what is good.
Yeah, more so just the confidence that Bang has in Wolf too.
Well, Oren taking a tower hit. Bengi's actually flashed forward. The volatile Spiderling comes out. Grand challenge is available. Ziv gets the heal from Decimate, but it's not enough. Morin's grand challenge is successful and they take him down.
And that is one of the strengths of SKT. Continuous faith in your teammates. Just overall, you saw Bang in the bot lane, didn't use heal or flash. Was sure Wolf would save him. In the top lane, Marin goes in for that exchange, knows he can trust on Bengi to burst him down quickly enough. Then the heal denies the bleed damage at all after that corpse of Ziv drops on the floor. So again, SKT 4-1 right now.
Looking for the bottom side. They see Bengi in the mid lane. They know Faker is back, so TP and not up for Faker at the moment. Can they punish this?
Let's take a look. So, Arn's going to take so many auto attacks. It's not going to work out. Mountain is around, will kill the pink ward, but there's Bengi roaming from the mid lane. AHQ need to be a little careful. We did see Faker forced back because of the all-in from Westdoor. And AHQ able to sneak that scuttle crab from underneath Bengi's nose. 1,000 gold in the lead. Feels like it could be bigger, but AHQ are still farming relatively well despite giving up all of those days.
And they're not stopping, putting on the pressure right now. Marin's TP is going to be up in just a couple of seconds, so we could see a very large fight. Wolf gonna get hooked.
Let's take a look. Grey health is up. Mountain is going to go down. Bang just sends the Buster shot out, and they secure another kill. They secure a blue buff. Now, there are tunnels behind the Dragon. So if SKT stick around, Mountain has the opportunity to get involved with that Void Rush. A tunnel in the pit that's not being killed yet. 4 seconds before they come up. AHQ, they're sticking around. Dragon secure. Death Sentence finds Bang. And waddle, waddle, waddle. Wolf walks away.
I like how they're almost drawing out hooks with Bang at the moment. They're just putting him in the front line. They have such confidence that Wolf is just going to be there right next to him at all times, eating him up. And so they're basically, by doing this, by dangling Bang as bait, they're making sure that AHQ actually cannot get a pick in this game because they're taking it hook, line, and sinker each time.
And Westdoor's going to land a hook onto Faker. Junglers are both nearby. Faker's gone low. Mountain will finish him off. And it looks like Westdoor's made it out alive. Now Mountain wants to get a furious bite onto Bengi. Marin is in trouble up top. Zip flashes forward. Finds the kill. May not have needed to expend the flash, but it doesn't matter. 2 quick kills to AHQ.
Yeah, Marin not flashing there either, so had a chance to deny that kill. Not going to come through. And AHQ, this is what they want. They want these skirmishes to start going their way and getting a big advantage. And Faker, his Rod of Ages has now been delayed significantly. You want to be getting that Rod about this time right now, 13 to 15 minutes, but he's going to get it late. That's going to slow down his scaling and give AHQ a shot at this game.
Yeah, Westdoor said it first in his interview too. SKT roam a lot with Faker to get other lanes ahead. One lane could use a roam right here is Marin because he just gets pulled in and does he get a good riposte here? And too early, and then the dunk does too much damage. You gotta, at this point, you have to hold it for the ultimate almost.
I think that matchup is just so interesting because the mind games that surround the riposte and the decimate really start to take shape. And that time, Ziv does get the better end of that trade.
Let's see whether or not AHQ can keep up this chaos style of game. Multiple fights on multiple sides of the map. That skirmish that their team composition offers, but no towers fallen yet because of the inability to push waves incredibly fast.
And that is punishing that Rod of Ages for Faker too. Any additional global gold speeds up that purchase a little bit. It's so far delayed because he's only relying on CS right now, and he's playing a style where he's actually roaming more than Westdoor. Go even bot like twice, help to steal away a blue buff, teleport bot once, so Faker's struggling to get his scaling item purchased.
There's a TP coming into the top side.
Everybody's looking for Ziv. He may not survive. Marin not going to be able to get the kill yet. Apprehend onto Faker. The heal from Decimate keeps Ziv up and standing. There's support coming from the river, but Westdoor will not be able to arrive. And SKT's play is thwarted by AHQ.
There's just so little crowd control on that top side to actually get the kill. If you want to make that play, make sure that Bengi gets there first so we can provide the cocoon a little bit disjointed on that top side gank, and so it won't be successful.
Yeah, it just shows you how scary it is to die with Darius overall. We saw Soas, I believe it was, turn around and play on him too with just a good apprehend under the turret.
And here we go, the counter play.
Let's take a look again. Albus finds the flay, but bang, flashes from the death sentence. Wolf has arrived. There's a Devour available, and AHQ have the numbers advantage in the bottom lane. Will they commit to the tower? It does not look to be the case.
And right there, just great presence of mind. Wolf getting into the bottom side to deny the dive. But not only that, Bang chose to flash directly down to avoid the hook. If he flashed left, he was going to get the mind game of the death sentence coming in, so he avoids it entirely by just going directly south.
Yeah, really, perpendicular flashes is what you need to do against hooks, and really good presence of mind for Bang to do it. But fantastic flash play from Albus. Mountain face checking a bit here, but getting tanky enough to really start dueling Bangy in the jungle.
Trading wards back and forth. Ziv looking for the fights. Fights everywhere, it's just non-stop. Ziv's not going to be able to follow up further. Teams are even at 17 minutes, and SKT have been ahead at 20 in every single one of their games.
But
The smallest advantage was 700 gold. Let's see if they can claw that back, or will AHQ continue to take advantage?
And that is the nature of this game. Low wave clear compositions with full-on skirmish team comps, 0 towers taken, 0 dragons taken, or just 1 taken from SKT so far, and just shows you how much of different pace this game is due to the compositions.
yeah, you're going to see a lot of kills because no one can rapidly push the lane in this game except for Tristana. So it's a very slow march from turret to turret every single time. And that just opens up so many opportunities to make aggressive plays on enemy champions. But look at this, that tower's getting very low for Faker.
Westdoor was playing so aggressive in that lane. They even toy with the idea of a dive. Teleport available for Ziv. Finds Chum the Waters, and Faker will not be able to get out. Westdoor dunks him under the tower.
Cool guys, don't look at exploding fakers. Just walk away. Just kill the best mid laner in the world, and I walked away from you.
Matchup is in Westdoor's favor. May be able to get this tower in a few minutes' time. Finally, that Rod of Ages is completed for Faker. Mountain
Goes
will
wide.
avoid the cocoon as Bengi fires it just to the side lane. Ziv now looking to chase him down. Will they go under the tower? Prey Seeker will get fired. Bengi's 110 HP. Mountain's tanking the turret. They've gone real deep for this. There is a Void Rush out if Mountain needs it. Ziv, he's all of a sudden out of position. Decimate heal will not land, and Ziv will get dropped. Mari can look for more. Tunnel for retreat from Mountain. Flash is available. Gonna find another tunnel. Lead to a third tunnel. Mountain's just digging holes everywhere.
Well, I mean, it's an interesting idea while Faker was down. They knew he was dead. He didn't have the TP up, but making that level of dive at this point in the game is
So greedy.
very, very risky.
Yeah, Mountain dug a grave there for his top laner and then tunneled his way out. Ziv was doing actually fantastic in that 1v1 matchup up until Mountain arrived and kind of threw it away there. And you can see the power from Marin too. Once he gets to proc that ultimate, it's so hard to take him down. Just the amount of healing that comes out of that.
And you can feel just how, maybe desperate is a strong word, but how much AHQ want and need those aggressive plays. Multiple times this game, they've just gone in over and over and over, and yes, it's keeping them even, but they simply do not have a lead, and I'm scared of the scaling options on the side of SKT.
This is a good move here by SKT, putting Tristana in the mid lane, especially with Wolf being able to deny what Fizz can do into an AD carry. A lot of the damage, both the Q from Fizz and the R can simply be denied, and SKT's one siege component now finally finds an opening.
Yeah, and I think that I totally agree. Great swap. We are just going to see Faker's teleport come back up soon. Another duel going on the top side.
Let's take a look. Ziv finds the apprehend. Decimate. The dunk gets repulsed. Flash forward for Ziv, followed by Marin. The bleed is burning, and it will not be enough. All of a sudden, Wolf wants to deliver bang to Ziv's backside. Ziv is looking for something to come from this, and unfortunately will find himself between a rock and a hard place. And it's Bang, Marin, Bengi, Wolf, all gonna be involved. Kill credit to Marin.
Yeah, it's tough to get the bang in the backside right there, you know what I mean? So, yeah, it didn't work out for him that time. Ziv goes down, and then now we're gonna see this pressure. Can they get the mid lane turret for it is going to be the question, because that is going to be a pretty favorable trade for AHQ.
And for the first time all tournament, Westdoor has a CS advantage at 20 minutes. AHQ have a gold advantage at 20 minutes, a tower advantage, and they're going to even the dragons out. This is the closest anybody has been with SKT, arguably because of the team compositions, but AHQ need to do more.
Yeah, tower and trade for the dragon. SKT already with that first dragon of the game, so they're not going to be too broken up about that. They're going to take a red buff and grab all they can.
Now that the map opens up and a couple towers fall left and right, you can definitely see some macro play come into the playstyle of this skirmishing. You really need to start playing smarter, use vision to your advantage, and more importantly, vision denial. Playing with Fog of War is incredibly important if you play this heavy pick style composition, because being at the wrong place at the wrong time could just cost you 2 towers, because you simply just can't out-rotate people anymore because you have no tower seat whatsoever.
And for SKT, it's all about playing around the Tristana. They have the double teleport, and until On actually gets a Hurricane here, they're not going to have really that much great wave clear. Marin already snapping up the last outer turret, and SKT, this is where they need to start initiating that 1-3-1, and they probably don't want that casted into the Fizz. Remember, Faker's Rod of Ages came 18, 19 minutes in this game, very delayed.
He's sitting on 4 stacks, I believe, right now. But only 4 stacks of Faker, so he's so far behind. Not only is he behind in the matchup, he's behind in the item build. That's why we see Wolf showing up here in the top lane.
And Wolf is looking, he's hungry. This is a sushi fight if ever I've seen one. They did trade flashes back and forth, and Wolf wants to waddle forward. Bengi's all of a sudden out of position. Assist for Mountain, and On gets the kill credits.
I actually don't know why we see Bengi running the Runeglaive here instead of the Cinderhulk, because his solo laners are very fragile in this game. He needs to be tanky, and he really hasn't done all that much that he with the Runeglaive that he couldn't have done with the Cinderhulk.
And we see some inexperience here from SKT from playing behind with this very pick-oriented composition. Bengi got caught there because he was pathing to the top lane to maybe get that kill, but it takes you too much time to get there, and you just get punished because there was 2 members involved chasing down the top laner, or chasing down Westdoor there in the top lane, and Bengi just passed it to mid lane.
And
with no
Albus
vision.
again.
He's coming on through, and there's the Fate's Call, just dragging him in with the Lantern right after. Very well played combo.
Wasn't even looking to help top, just wanted to push in mid there, but you can't do that with no vision. Not when 2 members of your team are in the top lane.
Luckily for SKT, tempo is now slowed down just a little. There's not a lot of towers to pressure for AHQ unless they're very deep in SK territory. And obviously that deep vision in the top quadrant will give SKT information to work with as AHQ is playing further back on the map. Hurricane has been completed, so On is activated, if we can say that.
AHQ doing a fantastic job. Even though Ziv died a lot, he's still putting a lot of pressure in that matchup, continuously drawing SKT members to him. The other side of the map, Albus and On haven't gotten outplayed anymore. Learned their lesson about the Devourer too, so with Westdoor being up 3-0 here, they gotta actually, they're poised to take control of the map for the next 5 minutes.
Here we go, just a little bit of harassment on Mountain while SKT takes out that pink ward. Do you see a kind of topside control going to SKT, AHQ with the deep wards at the bottom. Marin gonna go all in.
Let's take a look. Level 15 to level 13. Zip's gonna be able to proc the grand challenge. Noxian Might will not even get activated. And Marin uses that level and item advantage to his favor.
Marin didn't even lose HP in that exchange. Really seeing the power of that build coming out.
I mean, that's it, right? Once you get the Phage onto Fiora with the dash too, it is incredibly difficult to get away from her in a one-on-one once she starts going in.
Yeah, and a Ravenous Hydra buys you enough lifesteal time to proc your ulti, which gives you more health, which then gives you more lifesteal, and suddenly that all-in type of style that Ziv was playing earlier just isn't working anymore, and these longer trades are getting more into Marin's favor.
And SKT will also have the map play thanks to double teleports. AHQ cannot afford to have Westdoor in the wrong place at the wrong time. SKT, they're starting another early Baron. Teleport is available for Ziv. There's a Lantern in the pit, so Albus is aware of this.
Yeah, clever play. They just poking in there, seeing if they could get something. They saw a bunch of members recall, and of course Ziv being dead. You can sneak it right there, might as well go for it. Not really anything to lose, and if you can't get it, if they detect it, just pull off immediately, no harm, no foul.
Yeah, if you don't opt into a fight, there's no sieges that can happen on the other side, because wave clear is just so tremendously slow this game.
All right, 25 minutes in. 500 gold separates these teams, but it's SKT. They need to replace their deep vision. They've had truly exceptional vision this entire series. Let's take a look how they prioritize. Will they look at setup around Dragon, spawns in a minute, or are they content to play around this Baron? neither team wants to deal with Baron and Powered Minions because of extremely limited wave.
Well, AHQ's in a similar position that they were in game one. This is a very kiteable composition that we're looking at. It's just the Fizz, you know, coming in instead of the Diana, but same issue. So the more SKT can force them to just face check a brush, they're going to be able to kite out very effectively and then re-engage once the Tristana resets come through. So for SKT, it's playing out in a similar fashion, and AHQ has to find an answer.
Ooh, good repel. Bengi alive. The Flay will not really find its target. They've committed a teleport and a box. Westdoor, Chum the Waters finds Wolf, and we're going to see that fish fight once more. Grey health goes low. Death Sentence will not find a champion, but the grand challenge is being proc. Albus will drop, and SKT have the healing advantage. AHQ have already lost 2. As Marin may burn, he survives, stays alive. Faker and Bang go forward. They've only lost the Catfish and taken 3 with them.
Yeah, and such a subtle outplay there from Bang, just sidestepping the hook after Albus flashes in, and he doesn't have it hesitate at all. He just keeps whacking away at people, and then people forget about Fiora. Now Mountain goes in, but Bang drops
He
the...
finds him! Mountain shuts Bang down, defends the tower as well.
That was a really good play by Mountain, knowing his limits right there and stopping the siege while simultaneously getting the shutdown gold. Very well done.
But overall, just the knowledge of these champions, just sidestepping from Bang, Marin just staying alive by hitting a minion right at the end before bleeding to death, then they just game kicks in, gives us some more health. Confused Sentinels here.
Sentinel's getting real dizzy.
That Sentinel will actually see something though this time around.
Dragon.
And this is the replay of that fight.
And this play doesn't do too much.
Doesn't do anything at all, and Bang just on the outside of the box right there. And this is exactly the fight that SKT wanted.
Sorry to cut you off, Monty. Westdoor's going to playful Trickster up. Kill credit to On. Teleport comes in for Faker. He will most likely find Westdoor. No, Westdoor hops and skips and plays away. He stays alive. Faker's got that Rift Walk to safety, and nobody's really going to be able to chase him. Even with the Prey Seeker, Faker gets away. So AHQ find a kill. Marin, who is maybe out of position. What can they take with the 25 seconds?
Probably just gonna go through the Dragon here. They have some vision around the Baron, but they obviously can't afford to fight Baron and SKT at the same time. Picking up a Dragon is possible here. They got some teleports down. Bengi though.
Oh, Albus finds another death sentence. The Flay this time goes wide. Fate's call. Bops Wolf on the head. Albus is on the front line. The death sentence finds a target. Wolf's down. Bengi's caught by Chum the Waters. PS connects and Westdoor finds one. AHQ, they're taking control.
They're making very great picks overall. AHQ are looking to turn small advantages, which is the Dragon, into bigger things. They want kills and Dragons. They do it fantastically, but one can still credit Bengi's positioning this game. He's been going a little bit too far forward and has been picked off or in need of saving multiple times this game.
Well, it's fine. You have to think about the Runeglaive versus Cinderhulk trade-off, right? If you could position more aggressively in a tanky situation like that where you're just trying to get onto an objective if you have that Cinderhulk. If you're playing with a Runeglaive, there has to be somebody else there because you're a damaged champion. The entire purpose is just to burst somebody down.
Westdoor, he's landing a lot of hooks this game. He's not afraid to flash forward, to use them either, so he's trailing every time Wolf eats somebody, he's trailing Wolf, and then Wolf gets caught himself, so he's trading lives.
Albus is keeping AHQ's hopes alive. Time and time again, he's landed those death sentences all series long. And as we hit 30 minutes into the game, it is as even as this is going to get. So here's Bengi getting caught out.
The problem with this play is Faker's in base with no teleport. Bengi should never walk there. There's no way he can contest that Dragon ever. He's only setting himself up for a potential pickoff. Like, another nice hook here. Wolf goes down. You can't afford to play the map 4v5, and Marin was still dead there, so they were playing the map 3v5, blind into a Dragon that they shouldn't even contest.
And they had, HQ had a pink ward, so there was total vision denial in the river, so you have to assume that if you're walking on a ward and you can't see what's in the river and you don't see Thresh,
assume that they're there.
Assume that they are there.
So a lot of praise to AHQ, at least their mid and bottom half of the map, because it's Ziv that's really far behind. Level 15 to level 17. Still down 20 CS.
Ziv bought them the time to get ahead though. Ziv continuously got aggressed upon by SKT members, still kept even against Mar. Now that matchup is tilting away from him, but he bought so much time so that Westdoor and On could trail ahead.
You could say he was absorbing the pressure that SKT was applying, making sure that Westdoor had the freedom in that mid lane. 4-1 and 3. Got another needlessly large rod picked up, but Faker's continuing to scale. Rod of Ages has been fully stacked for a few minutes. Hourglass is completed as well. So, gentlemen, Kassadin is a thing. Do not forget, he can start to chase on down.
And one thing that's crucial that's been finished is Bang's QSS, so we can drop the fish. So now, this is where Fizz starts that problem. We get into the late game, we see some of these defensive items coming out. It really cuts Fizz's damage.
He does become more of a...
I think so. Ziv apprehended
pulled
that
it
one,
over the wall, yeah.
and then got the kill credit as well. So Ziv is like mine, and got it.
Fizz becomes more of a two-pronged attack weapon here right now later in the game once he finishes that Zhonya's, because he can go in for the initial combo, Zhonya's wait for cooldown, then go again and use the second playful Trickster to get out. So in that sense, he can fight still after his fish gets dropped. But it becomes an ultimate skill matchup later in these team fights.
One that Westdoor will know intimately. Longest standing Fizz player probably on the planet.
Look how scared Westdoor is. He just pathed left to right a couple of times, so he's not quite sure where he has to be on the map. He wants to push top lane right here, but he's prioritizing vision denial a little bit on the Baron area, and he wants to be in a position to flank mid if that siege happens from SKT. He's still pathing left to right.
All the positive plays that AHQ put on the map, despite being even, they are the ones that are under pressure. Ziv dealing with Marin in the bottom lane, despite being 2 levels down. And SKT playing safe and respectful in that middle lane. They're not over-aggressing on the tower. AHQ need to find another miraculous pick if they actually want to get map control, because it's simply not there.
Well, one thing that SKT has been doing this game is just making sure that the minion waves are constantly pressed into AHQ's side of the map. They have that advantage in the top lane, and they're only able to do it in 2 lanes right now because Faker is so far behind. But as this game goes on, Faker will be unleashed as a 1-3-1 split pusher instead. And then it's going to be very difficult for AHQ to contest just the map pressure, because even if they get a pick, even if they win a fight, taking an objective afterwards will be extremely difficult.
Release the Faker.
I think he was unleashed earlier this game. Continues to scale up. So Dragon is up in 2 minutes. Baron continues to stay standing, and AHQ committed vision resources to this top quadrant. So the Baron dance, gentlemen, we may see it begin.
SKT is aware of the way HQ wants to win these fights later on. That is by flanking with the Fizz. So you can see every time they don't have vision in the river next to them, they back off. And if they do, they're constantly pinging out Westdoor's position. But just an incredibly stale game. Nobody's really breaking up any towers here.
And it's about time to remind everybody, if SKT win, they qualify for the semis to face Origin. AHQ need to pick up a win to stay alive in the tournament. Cannot underestimate how important that is. Right, tower dive. Marin's going under. Will proc the grand challenge. Riposte that decimate. And that may unlock some time on the tower. Marin does have flash available. Albus is looking for a target. Will not find one, and bang. Rocket jumps quite aggressively there, knowing there's limited threat from engage. SKT, they found some time on this inner turrets.
Yeah, and they've just controlled this bottom side of the map because of the pressure that we've seen Marin exert, just slowly chipping away on this tower. A little bit dangerous for HQ to even walk there through that path to defend it, but they do get away unscathed.
Yeah, he picks up a Spirit Visage now too, just to increase that healing even more. He's barely even dropping in these small trades, and he just whittles down Ziv until the pressure makes them crumble, and eventually they lose an objective. But it's a slow, long battle to really get him chunk enough to zone him out of the lane, and then you get a tower. But could be looking at quite a long game this game.
Well, that's the reality of these pick compositions going head-to-head. Neither team really has very good siege, so it's about the split push. It's about these little bitty skirmishes around objectives. So heading into 40 or 50 minutes would not really be too unusual here.
No. Fortunately for AHQ, it is about individual play. It is about landing that one skill shot, that one flank. So as we continue to scale up, Dragon number 3 looking to be secured with the Ren, Stacks, and Smite. It should be an easy secure, made simpler as SKT back away. And that movement speed is going to help AHQ against this incredibly mobile, incredibly difficult team to lock down for SKT.
Yeah, and if AHQ could actually deny the possibility of a blind Baron against SKT, they can just keep playing towards 5 Dragon win conditioning. They're fine getting pushed in up until the Dragon spawns. They don't have to get any other objective on the map as long as SKT can't really sneak a Baron. Later on though, you have to be careful because Fiora, Elise, Tristana does an incredibly quick Baron.
This is the first game all worlds that SKT has trailed in those Dragons. Cocoon finds Mountain. He's very confident on his tunnels. He's got some support coming up from behind, but here's Bang. There's the Lantern. Mountain again knew that he had relative support, but that may have been a tad over-eager.
By getting poked, though, he is seeding up vision control of the Baron again. And you have to weigh, as a jungler, you have to weigh that very seriously. Does it matter more if I lose those wards, or does it matter more if I get this blue buff? And that's what he chose. He didn't get either in that situation, but playing so aggressively by himself is a risk when it comes to preventing SK Telecom from now threatening this Baron very actively.
Yeah, and as the 4v4 moves away from mid lane, but actually towards Baron, teams distance themselves a lot farther from that bot lane, where the 1v1 is convincingly being won by Marn. So we could see a repeat dive into teleport later on by Marn. That's what SKT is waiting for right now.
Luckily for AHQ, Scuttle Crab belongs to them. So SKT playing around a vision in the pit. Ziv
Hang on.
looking for Marin. Marin forced a flash. It looked like Ziv flashed forward as well. Did not use the dug on. Will ride the lantern to safety. The explosive satchel. That was QSS off, if I'm reading that correctly, and summon a heal. SKT now have the advantage. They chunked AHQ out, and they're looking to push towers. Marin loses the fight, but ends up winning by getting the tower anyway.
Lifesteal.
Yeah, he has a ton of lifesteal on this build, right? So he's going to have that advantage. Can't quite knock it down, but it's just little by little. He's winning the duel in this bottom side.
One more mistake from either team will result in a big objective. For SKT, if they punish a mistake from HQ, it'll be blowing open the base thanks to having Tristana.
Slow farm game here for Faker. See what he goes for next. It's going to be the Void Staff or something else. It's a nice big wave right there. If we've been watching SKT, every time they push down to that tier 2 turret, they've been letting a slow push develop. While they push mid and bottom, the wave develops, Faker goes and farms it, and then they reset back in the mid lane.
Yeah, I've seen the hesitation on Westdoor too. He wants to push it out fully, but he can never quite commit to that full 1-3-1 because then SKT just punished. He's constantly looking for those flanks, but due to really good warding on the side of the flanks, SKT is preventing it, and that puts up a bit of a net neutral state where neither team is really getting ahead.
Well, even if you do have wards if you're Westdoor, you have to worry about the Tom Kench ult, you have to worry about the teleport coming in from the very fed Marin. So there's a risk even if you do have that vision.
Mountain playing with his life a little bit. Used the tunnel to get away from Benki, and Bang was looking to take him out. Void Staff was completed by Faker in the last back. Marin's got himself another BF sword. Damage galore as far as he is concerned. Westdoor's had that hourglass for a little while, so power curve continues to escalate. We're about to hit 40 minutes into the game. No clear sign of a victor yet, but SKT honestly spending most of the time away from their own base.
Interesting potential power swing in this matchup here. Stery's Gauge finished by Ziv, so when he goes low, he actually gets that extra health and just more damage coming out of him in an extended duel against Marin. So Marin actually just wants to slowly, he's even more incentivized to kill Ziv slowly and painfully instead of actually going for a burst fight.
Oh, tension is building. On once again takes a low hit, low attack rather. Needs to back away. Marin still fighting Ziv in the bottom lane. Gromp round 3 goes to Marin for the second time.
And we haven't seen Faker use his teleport to really assist that 1v1 there in the bot lane. Ziv and Marin have been facing off a couple of times against each other, but Faker could easily just teleport down bot if the remaining SKT members can hold the Baron vet 3v4, and that could swing up in the game too.
So for the first time, AHQ are not making as many positional mistakes. Mountain's playing a little aggressive, and for SKT, with their team comp, they're unable to play the map as effectively. They are so reliant on finding a kill.
Yeah, but the problem here is that AHQ is marching to the beat of SKT's drum. The side wave control has been heavily in favor of SK Telecom over the last 10 or so minutes. So they're constantly playing a defensive game. They have to keep poking in dangerously at Baron to start to clear out wards. And it's getting very difficult.
You could also see Ziv, he doesn't want to get past that brush too far. That's why this lane has constantly been pushed up in the bottom. Not because he's afraid to duel Marin, because he's just afraid of Faker's teleport. So as long as Faker has a teleport, bot lane will always be pressured by SKT.
Now that Wolf has got some armor, got some hit points, he's actually somebody that can tank up Baron a little. So simply put, nobody else from SKT can really tank it. There's sustain from Marin and Bang, but that's so risky.
They're actually pinging bot. They may go for a teleport play here.
Find and engage. You can see the fight happening in the bottom lane. Marin, the challenge is out. He looks to be winning. Sterix Gauge comes up. Ziv with Noxian Might looking for a target, and they end up nullifying one another. Marin is recalling. Baron is being dropped so low. SKT have decided to peel. The Cocoon does not find a target, and actually Marin, he's staying in lane. He's got sustain. Arn is going to hop backwards. The box comes down for a little bit of zoning. The Flay finds no one as Westdoor's coming from the side. He connects onto Bengi, but Bengi repels away, drops down. Ziv, he won the duel. He can recall back. He can teleport forward. But can AHQ do anything with their next minute of 5v4?
A potential home guards teleport could threaten the Baron, but remember, AHQ is sitting on 3 dragons right now.
Yeah, not only that, but that was a misplay from SKT. As soon as Zip doesn't use his ult in the bottom side, you need to back off, because in a TP versus TP duel, Marin had already used his ultimate. Zip coming in could be dangerous. They're going to go for it, though.
Let's take a look. Where are the wards? Ziv needs to arrive. Faker's been chunked down by that Baron. The no real front line hurting them a little. Dragon number 4. Gentlemen, the timer is now cranked up to 6 minutes, and it's actually AHQ underneath that clock.
This is the first time we've actually seen teams threaten SKT here at Worlds. Let's watch that again. This duel there in the bot lane. Zip goes low.
Hits the Decimate right there. There's another one.
Wow.
Base repost. Yeah, you can't afford to do that in this matchup.
Oh, gentlemen, sorry to pull you back. Albus is in trouble. Fate's Call pulls him backwards. He gets a 4-man knockup, but Baron is down. 3,900 HP. Ziv is being exhausted as he's on the back line. Arn is trying to hop and skip towards Marin. A double kill for Bang. He gets the reset and the rocket jump. May get a 3rd onto Mountain. Looking for the auto attack range. Will not find it. Faker is going a little low. He's going golden, and Marin wants to finish off Arn and Westdoor. Westdoor throws down the hourglass. Faker shuts Arn down. Westdoor will follow shortly thereafter. We unfortunately didn't see the setup, but all of a sudden, all of the work that AHQ put in, completely undone.
I don't even know what to say about that. Marin, they waited too long to start that Baron where he had his TP up. He could get into the pit. They're going to charge straight forward for an inhibitor right here. Take it out, and then they'll have the ultimate pressure onto that Baron.
Yeah, fantastic team fight there from SKT, moving in and out of the fight, and they can likely just finish up the game, but then it makes you wonder, why did AHQ start that Baron when they had a potential 5th dragon?
It's a question that AHQ will be asking themselves all the way through the offseason. SK Telecom destroy AHQ's Nexus and are 1 step closer to the Summoners Cup.
Wow, so a very abrupt end to that game after a very long, well-fought game by AHQ, but they don't, like you're saying, Prepo, they don't play around the 5th dragon, and instead go for a very risky Baron when Marin's coming back up with TP, and they are punished.
Yeah, lack of foresight and lack of adaptation has punished AHQ a little bit, and tenacity is something we've seen a lot from this SKT squad. They know how to play from ahead, but they also know how to cut their losses and play slightly slower from behind until inevitably somebody makes a mistake and that swings the game over. They don't need much.
I'm very surprised. That was a very abrupt end.
What an unfortunate end for AHQ. The first time they had a real shot to take down SKT. They held, they defended for so long.
Well, and SKT, they opted in the draft to play into that style. Westdoor did an extraordinary job in the mid lane up against Faker. But in the end, some macro mistakes and a missed shot call cost them the series.
And ladies and gentlemen, here in London, put your hands together for SK Telecom. They advance to Brussels, where they will face Origin.
What a fantastic stage that'll be. Oh, wait, see that.
Euphoria or eulogy?
Eulogy, baby.
Find out next time on the episode of 2015 World Championships.
I think we'll have 1 Euphoria and 1 Eulogy in the semifinals.
We'll have to find out, but for SKT, questions this game, I think. But back to the draft, you can talk about, hey, if it had snowballed earlier, how much easier could it have been? You can talk about decision making, but for Westdoor and crew, difficult loss, a difficult exit from the World Championship.
Every game this Tom Kench pick is being picked on support, the value becomes more apparent. Both teams playing it and teams that face off against it might even see support bans come out later on. Just the value of that Devour, it showed so much in that bot lane here for SKT. They already played well with it. The tower dive, the Abyssal Voyage, you know, with Bang and Wolf under the tower aggro switches. I like seeing it.
It's really a fun champion to watch. I don't imagine it's very much fun to play against.
I can't even play it. I
enjoy
tried it once, I just can't do it, so.
The thing that I really like is just the evolution of the champion, as we were alluding to during the course of the game, is how we saw Tahm Kench come to fruition in week 2. We saw some real high highs from the Coup Tigers and some low lows from, everybody else who tried, really. But now we're actually seeing, again, Wolf showing a great proficiency using that Abyssal Void aggressively, despite how easy it is to read, despite how long it is to channel and cast. You can make it effectively.
Yeah, probably
if the opportunity presents.
still the most underused ability, I think, out of his kit. Just because Tahm Kench on itself would work without the ultimate. He's one of those champions that even if you didn't have Abyssal Voyage, would make a fine support pick. One could argue that Thresh was in a similar state back in the day. You didn't even need the box to play him because his kit was just so strong. But I want to see more Abyssal Voyages used to really rotate around that and surprise people. Just get behind wards and then path in for ganks. Just so many plays potential. Similar like Bard has like journey that you can do. Really, you can open up the map and open up plays that people are not really used to seeing.
Yeah, not only that, but the choices you can make too about which allies to take with you, how that's all going to play out. I just feel like we're just seeing the tip of the iceberg at the Tahm Kench play, and especially as we go deeper into this tournament, undoubtedly it'll be a very big pick, and the players will get more comfortable, not only the support players, but that's a team pick.
Yep.
You have to play as a team around that, so everybody has to know how it works.
The next question as well is, how do you play around it if you let it through? Because that's a question that nobody's been willing to answer yet when it comes to Mordekaiser and GP. They're just on the permaban list. But Tahm Kench, if you go, look, Morn GP are 1 and 2 priority, how do you play around the Kench?
I mean, you change your play patterns. You saw Albus adapt during the game too. He stopped hooking people.
Yeah.
You use hook as a zoning tool rather than just an offensive tool because hook leads to devour, and then you get counter-traded, so you just stop hooking people.
Crepo, all of my hooks are zoning tools. Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to head to Shocks in the Interval Lounge to talk to the best mid laner in the world.
Thank you. Well, first off, congratulations, Faker, on making it to the semifinal. When we went into game 3, it looked like it was going to be a very clean 3-0 sweep for you guys, but then it was quite close, especially in that mid lane. What happened there?
페이커 선수 우선 4강 진출을 축하드립니다. 3경기 이전까지는 되게 깔끔하게 3대 0으로 끝날 줄 알았는데 3경기 때 이제 라인전에서 좀 고생도 하시고 경기가 전체적으로 힘들었는데 경기에 대해서 좀 말씀을 해주세요.
우선 이 경기까지 했을 때는 저희가 쉽게 3대 0으로 이길 것 같았는데 막상 3경기를 하니까 좀 굉장히 힘들고 또 그리고 플레이를 하면서 느낀 게 제가 원래 상대가 잘한다고 느낀 적이 거의 없는데 이번에 웨스트도어 선수가 피즈를 좀 정말 잘하시더라고요. 그래서 많이 힘들었던 것 같아요.
Okay, so up till game 2, we thought the games were going pretty easily. Until game 2, it was pretty easy, but at game 3, the game was very hard, and during the mid lane phase, I rarely acknowledged my opponents as a very strong laner, but I thought that Westdoor is very strong, and I had a very hard time against him.
Well, it showed, but in the end, you guys still managed to win. That means that now you guys are 9-0 already in the tournament. When we talked in the group stage, we talked about how it would be a very fun tournament because there was no obviously super dominant team. But to me, it's looking like you guys are becoming that team. How have your thoughts changed since then, and now that you're 9-0?
지금까지 이제 9승 0패로 전승 가도를 달리고 있는데 페이커 선수가 조별 예선 때는 인터뷰에서 지금 이번 대회에서는 다들 상향 평준화돼서 되게 재밌는 경기 많이 나올 거고 치열할 것이라고 얘기했습니다. 근데 이제 지금까지 봤을 때는 SKT가 절대 강자로 보이는데 혹시 그에 대해서 어떻게 생각하시나요?
우선 지금까지 저희가 압도적인 경기력을 보여준 거는 사실이지만 사실 저희가 스크림에서 그렇게까지 완벽한 모습을 보여지는 않기 때문에 전승이 힘들다고 생각했었는데 앞으로도 지금까지는 좀 전승이어서 앞으로 좀 운이 좋으면 가능하지 않을까 싶고 그렇기 때문에 앞으로도 좀 더 잘해야 될 것 같습니다.
So even though we were dominating up till now, we were kind of having a hard time during scrims, so I didn't actually see this coming, this 9-0 record. But we got up till here without dropping a single game, and I think if we try really hard, we might be able to pull the entire tournament. So we'll just keep on practicing hard and hope for the best.
As we get some disco lights in here. might be able to pull out the entire tournament. So a win versus Origin would be needed for that. That's the team you will be facing in the semifinals. I mean, we're here in Europe. They have a lot of fans here. So do you guys. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that matchup.
그 이제 페이커 선수가 방금 전에 말한 전승 우승을 위해서는 이제 다음 4강전에서 오리진 팀을 꺾어야 할 텐데 이제 홈 그라운드이기도 한 오리진을 상대로 이제 어떤 경기가 예상되는지 말씀해 주세요.
우선 저희가 전승을 하기 위해서는 오리진을 3대 0으로 이겨야 되는데 사실 오늘 경기도 굉장히 힘들었거든요. 그래서 다음도 전승을 이어가기는 힘들 것 같은데 아무튼 오리진이 지난번에 경기하는 거 보니까 굉장히 좀 잘하시더라고요. 그래서 좀 걱정이 되지만 그래도 제가 유럽에서 경기를 좀 많이 해봤기 때문에 지난 올스타 때 관중들이 유럽을 응원해도 별로 상관없을 것 같아요.
So in order to beat, okay, so let me try that again. So if we have to beat Origin 3-0 again next week, I think it's gonna be a very hard job. Like even today, we struggled a lot, and I personally also played a lot of games in Europe so far, like even last year at All-Stars. So I think even though the home crowd might cheer Origin, I'm fine with that. And yeah, that's it.
You're fine with that. One final question, maybe, Faker. I feel like you're having a lot of fun outside of the game as well. I saw you high-fiving the crowd over here, and you seem to be a lot more relaxed than I saw you in Season 3. Can you tell me about your personal experience so far at Worlds?
페이커 선수 이제 방금 경기가 끝난 직후의 모습에도 막 팬들이랑 하이파이브를 하고 되게 팬들이랑 되게 훨씬 더 즐거운 모습을 보이는 게 많이 보였는데 2013년 월드컵과 이번 대회를 비교했을 때 어떤 경험을 하고 있는지 얘기해 주세요. 그러니까 2013년 월드 챔피언십과 이번 대회에서 본인이 어떤 게임 외적인 모습을 보이고 있는지.
우선 왜 그 롤드컵에 올 때나 올스타에 올 때나 느낀 점이 항상 유럽이나 북미 팬들이 정말 열정적이고 그래서 게임을 할 때도 더 재미있게 할 수 있는 것 같아요. 그래서 더 기쁘게 할 수 있는데 지난 2014년도에도 저도 사실 팬들이 응원해 주는 거에 대해서 정말 감사함을 느꼈지만 그다지 표현은 안 했었는데 이번에는 어느 정도 표현하면서 팬들한테 좀 하는 게 좋다고 생각해서 하고 있는 것 같습니다.
So whenever I played a tournament at either NA or Europe, I always feel that the fans are really passionate. And even back in 2013, I really want to thank them, but I wasn't able to express that thoroughly. So for this tournament, I'm trying my best to express that I'm thankful for my fans.
And they are also very thankful to you, and I'm very thankful for this interview. Thank you so much, Faker. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And that will be it from us, guys. Take it away.
Thank you, Shox. That man has no shortage of fans and how passionate they are. Jumping into this series, though, was a 3-0 for SKT, so they're keeping their undefeated run here at Worlds alive. I want to start with the picks and bans here, though, because Faker comes out with that Kassadin into the Fizz.
Yeah, we were talking about how much we were liking SKT drafts. This was the one that I walked away from going, I don't know where the wave clear really is here. So it's going to be a stalled out game that requires a lot of skirmishing, which they, SKT has shown a lot of prowess for, but so has AHQ. So this was going to be a bloody game that I thought going back and forth. And the Kassadin against the Fizz was not working out for him at all. He got solo killed twice, and then there was one kill that was, for all intents and purposes, it was a solo kill, but the junglers kind of had a little bit of a hand in it.
It was a cheeky draft, but I do think that his laning disadvantage came from that early teleport. When you TP in the early game, like before level 6, to get one kill that you don't even get, you get an assist, and then you got a base, walk back to the lane. That gives a huge level advantage to the Fizz, and that's really where the snowball began.
Yeah, but then when he got killed the first time, they were both level 5, and then Fizz got 6 off of the kill, and I think it was the Ignite, the kill pressure of the Ignite. Because we've been back and forth about TP versus Ignite in the mid lane. This was a great display of the type of advantage you can get when you run the Ignite and the type of pressure that Yamato's been talking about that you take to a TP mid laner.
Also a great display of what happens when you predict the flash and actually flash before the Kassadin does to where
Also,
the Kassadin
what happens
will
when you
flash.
drop the fish? Come on, guys.
What was that? What was that? There was no fish involved in that kill.
That one wasn't the fish. One thing
He got it the next kill, though. He used the fish the next kill.
All right.
One thing I do want to point out is that the Fizz matchup against Kassadin is actually really, really easy for Kassadin to set up ganks. And I want to give credit to Westdoor here and how well he played this, because generally when you're Kassadin and you trade with your Q, the reaction from Fizz is that he wants to jump in and trade back with his E, and what that does is it sets up these weird slow pushes and Kassadin freezes in front of his turret, and it's actually super frustrating as a Fizz player to play against something like that. But what Westdoor was doing was refusing to trade in the first 3 levels, and he would jump out of it, and then he actually got the freeze in front of the turret after the teleport came in, and even though he didn't have level 6, he would have hit it eventually first anyway, just because of how well he manipulated that wave. And that's just something that really good Fizz players will do, be able to trade outside of the wave and get in a small advantage like that. So credit to Westdoor. He didn't have the best first couple of games, but that game 3, he certainly did do a pretty good job at the start of the game of being able to dictate the pace as a Fizz player like you should be able to do.
Also, happy birthday to Westdoor. It is his birthday today, and what present would you want more than solo killing Faker
Multiple
twice?
times.
Multiple
Yeah.
times on your own accolades. So once again, happy birthday, Westdoor. The game result wasn't the best for you, but your performance was still very good.
Yeah, the next thing I do want to move into, though, is the performance of AHQ as a whole. In this game specifically, they're arguably their most competitive game against SKT, but really this whole series, we do have to look at the efforts and the plays that they were making to give SKT a run.
Yeah, definitely. And one thing I do want to compliment them on in that game 3 is that they made a mid-series adjustment, and this is something that we didn't necessarily think AHQ would be able to do. We said that they really didn't figure out the Viger. This time you have to say that they pretty much figured out the Tahm Kench by the end of it and were able to play around it. And I think that they had some very good individual moments, like the turret dive that went bad for Myron, and Ziv was able to get the solo kill. I guess Arn standing up against Bang in a matchup that we thought Bang would be able to exploit a little bit, showing that he's a legitimate AD carry on the world stage. I think that this is a team that still has a lot of upside, and as they get better macro players, they will be able to continue to grow as a team. Individually, they look fantastic. It's just that macro play around the map that looks a little bit
It's really like a diamond in the rough showing, you know, that rough around the edges, but the intentions are good. You know, they want to do the right plays, but they're just fumbling it here and there, particularly that final call to the Baron. You know, you got 4 dragons to yourself. Relax and really bring yourself back into the game, because that's something that comes with experience. You know that you have the upper foot in this game. Don't go for that Baron.
But I also want to say that's what makes AHQ so fun to watch. Like, you never know what they're going to do, man. Sometimes it's frustrating, but if that paid off, you would have been like, what the heck is going on?
If you want to win worlds,
definitions of
though, you got to
fun.
put fun aside and try to go for the ultimate play, because ultimately they wanted to say, if we want the championship, we're going to have to beat SKT.
I mean, to make a case to the opposite, or to his point, I mean, Salty Timo is fun to watch, so... there's a case, the stream Salty Timo. Do you not know it?
But
anyway, I digress. I digress if you're not aware.
I've never heard of this.
I'm thinking about like the AHQ versus Fnatic game. Like, to me, like, it was a very degraded game. In the end, it was just people running at each other trying to, like, but what a great game of League of Legends, like, from a spectacle point of view, to be able to just see raw mechanics on display like that. It's like, it's not perfect League of Legends, but it is very entertaining.
AHQ is out. It was a valiant effort put up by a team, you know, who made it to the top 8. So as you mentioned, they're better showing than they had last year, and they were up against a tournament favorite. So good on them. Now I want to look at SKT moving forward. Again, this is a team that, undefeated, hasn't been forced to show too much.
I think a pattern that has come out in SKT's play a lot of times is Bengi's performance. So a lot of times he can be very good, pressure all the time, never gets caught out, but sometimes it's the opposite. He's getting caught out a lot by himself. We saw him in this series multiple times dying off on his own. He could have died a lot more times if AHQ executed on that. And that's something that going into Origin, they can highlight as a reoccurring instance, that they can really punish SKT for it. And if I'm Origin looking into this, I'm thinking, we got our weak spot, guys. We really need to put all our eggs into this. And Amazing's going to have to step up from yesterday's performance to actually do that.
Well, speaking of Bangi, right now we're going to send it over to Freak for a word with SKT's jungler.
Thank you very much, Dash. Hello, everyone. I am here with the victorious SK Telecom T1 jungler, Bangi. I've got to talk to you first about that matchup coming in. Was there any point where you were ever concerned that you weren't going to make the semifinals here?
이번 8강전 경기를 하면서 혹시 한 번이라도 이거 4강 진출을 못할 수도 있겠다라는 생각을 한 적이 있었나요?
일단 4강 진출을 못한다는 생각은 안 했는데 경기를 질 수도 있겠다고는 생각이 들긴 했어요.
I never thought that we wouldn't make to the semifinals, but I actually was worried that we might drop a game at some point.
Well, talking about dropping a single game right now, you guys are 9-0. Maybe only 6 more wins to go. What will it take to make the perfect 15-0 run at Worlds?
현재까지 9승 0패의 기록을 가지고 있는데 이제 나머지 6경기만 더 이기면 이제 15승 0패 전승 우승을 기록할 수 있는데 그 기록을 달성하기까지 이제 어떤 것들이 남았는지 말씀해 주세요.
어떤 것들?
그러니까 어떻게 해야 전승 우승할 수 있을 것 같은지.
일단 가장 중요한 게 4강이고 그다음 결승전인데 뭐 다 이겨야 된다고 생각하는데 준비를 어떻게 해야 될지는 잘 모르겠어요. 현재까지는 잘 준비하고 있으니까 이대로만 계속 가면 충분하지 않을까 싶어요.
So winning worlds without dropping a game, that means you have to win like every single game from like semifinals and finals. That's like a very hard task. But I think we prepared very well up to this point, and if we just keep on maintaining this momentum and our practice, we should be fine.
Wow, so actually a pretty good chance you make the 15-0. Bengi, final question for you here. You're on track to be the second player, well, I guess first alongside Faker, but the both of you to be a 2-time world champion. Do you think you're deserving of this title?
이제 뱅기 선수가 페이커 선수와 함께 이제 롤드컵 2회 우승을 이제 지금 노리고 있는데 뱅기 선수가 생각하시기에 본인이 그런 2회 우승을 타이틀을 가져도 될 자격이 있다고 생각하시나요?
뭐 자격은 누가 주는지는 잘 모르겠지만 저는 자격은 충분하다고 봅니다.
It's hard to say in my own words that I deserve that second time title, but yes, I think I do.
Bengi deserves the double world championship. Bengi, congratulations on the win. Thank you very much. And we're going to throw it back to Dash for some analysis on those games.
Thank you, Freak. We'll get into how they might perform later on in the tournament in just a second, but I want to talk about today's series and the fact that we have to acknowledge Wolf, who had a big day on the Rift as he unbenched the Kench and claimed our Player of the Series honors.
I was talking about it earlier where after MSI, a lot of eyes were on this guy to perform, but he has stepped up, and now on the world stage, we're seeing a different Wolf than we were seeing at MSI the last time he was playing internationally. His Tom Kench, great champion for him. He seems to know this champion in and out, and he had some really good ultimate plays there. The one that stuck out for me was the one where they dove the bottom lane turret, because he had an understanding of this champion where when you dive, the person in your belly actually gets turret aggro first. So the Tristana took aggro, then he was devouring him afterwards to spit him back out again. So they were doing great swapping there. He's shown a lot of intricacies on that champion and stepped up.
And we've given Bang credit throughout this entire tournament. I'm going to say that this was actually one of Bang's worst performances, and he got caught out a couple of times. You saw it on the screen there. He face-checked the brush with Tristana. In lane, he got hooked. Wolf actually did an amazing job of keeping this guy safe at all points of the game, was able to shut down a lot of the momentum plays that AHQ were looking for, and that really affects the tempo of the game when you're able to do that from the support position.
And it's worrying for Origin to see a new champion come out knowing that you're probably going to have red side for large majority of the semis, and now you got to ban Cam Kench. That's another guy to put into the table. The Rise, the Fiora, like where does it end?
Yeah, if you're on red side and you're already banning more GP, it's hard to attack this SKT team.
Yeah, and a little bit before, it used to be you can target Wolf a little bit, get his Alistar out of the picture, pick your Braum, get Janna out of there as well. Doesn't seem to be the case anymore because now he has multiple fallbacks, and with the red side problem, he's going to be able to get anything that he wants.
Well, let's pull up the playoff bracket and see how it's filling out with another day down. SK Telecom have added to their Perfect Worlds run with today's 3-0 sweep over AHQ. They'll move on to face Europe's Origin in their semifinal showdown next week. So again, we've hit on it ever so slightly just now. When we look at that, based on what we saw Origin play and their slow games versus SKT and their rather controlled, clean, slightly faster games, how do we expect that matchup to play out?
I think SKT is going to drop at least one game here. Origin has shown very slow games, but the team comps they run around them are very good into the scaling. And sure, they might not be able to hold themselves in the early game, but I think that Niels' laning phase with Mithy is just really strong right now, and it should be a big enough lead to carry them through that early game against SKT and stall the game a little bit longer. Maybe we're going to see the same thing here, but I do think that they at least have one game because of what we saw here.
I'm really worried because Marin has shown Fiora, and Niels' best champion is Kalista, and Fiora is actually really, really good against Kalista. The short dashes means that you can pressure her throughout all stages. Actually itemizes into Frozen Heart very well as a second item if you don't want to go the Black Cleaver to get the same 20% CDR. And I think that if anything, we do have a comparison here because we saw Civ play against Huni, and we've seen Soaz play against Huni a lot of times, and Marin completely demolished Civ today. And I think that that is something that Soaz is going to be looking at. Kennen, bad against Fiora. There are so many matchups. That becomes such a priority pick right now for SKT. And that guy has shown just time and time again, he will take over fights.
One thing I'm looking at is the coaches here. Koma and Hermit. The drafting that we've seen from OG has always been off the tendencies of their enemies. Right? Against Flash Wolves, they're saying, you take it late, we're just going to take it late as well. Against TSM, they did the same thing. I want to see if they're able to say, this is the weakness of SKT. We're going to target the jungle. Yeah. We're going to go in. We're going to go in early.
Maybe they know a weakness we don't.
I want to see a different type of style here from OG because they've been saying that they have versatility. Can they play early game compositions and snowball? Because we've seen the late game. Don't know if that's going to hold up, but I want to see more. I don't want to see Anivia every game.
Yeah, in that interview that you should all check out on LoLesports.com, SKT does talk about, though, the fact that they have struggled with speeding up the game, and that's why they fall back onto those longer games. So I guess the big question is whether or not they're going to be comfortable enough to go back into a fast-paced game against SKT of all teams. We'll have to see. Tomorrow, though, we'll move on to the other side of our bracket when hometown favorites Fnatic take on China's Edward Gaming in a best-of-5. The good old LPL region here for you, Spawn, making their stand against Fnatic, the hometown favorites, to say the least. Thoughts on this matchup?
It's going to be really interesting. This is like, once again, another MSI rematch that we saw, and the difference is that it's now Reckless playing in the AD carry position, and that's going to be super fun because it's like EU deft versus actual deft, and I think Reckless is a really good AD carry at this point. He does a lot for his team, so I'm really interested to watch this bottom lane play out. I love the AD carry role because people thought it was the weaker position coming into this tournament, and we've seen so many AD carries step up and do great things. So I just want to see how that plays out.
Yeah, and you're talking about the weakest position. The perceived strongest position coming into this tournament is top lane beforehand. Huni versus Koro. Koro, well, this guy, he wasn't playing at all during the group stages. This guy was out for injury. He's the team captain. They want to improve their communication, bring him back. I know he's not as practiced with the team since their boot camp in Korea, and he hasn't been putting in the same time that Amazing Jay has. So Huni has also been having wishy-washy performances in the top lane. So this is a big volatile matchup for me here. I want to see what Koro can do on this patch, and I want to see, I know we saw him in the 5.16 previously, but I want to see what he can do on 5.18 versus Huni, who does seem to have a good adaptation there. He's got the Riven, he's got all these carry champions. What can they do against each other, and who gets that edge?
Well, you could argue that these teams were inconsistent during the group stage. You know, they didn't have the best showing. We expected them to play at a higher level coming into the tournament, but they always play well when it counts. So I don't think that this is going to be a one-sided series whatsoever. Likely to see those 5 games go the distance. Hoping Fnatic takes it too.
Well, would love to see 5 games tomorrow. We'll leave some analysis for tomorrow as well. That's going to do it for us tonight. But in just 15 minutes, Quick Shot, Crepo, and Freak will be along to recap the day's biggest moments with Worlds tonight. Now for myself, the casters, and the entire live broadcast crew, thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Drop the fish.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, day 2 of the League of Legends World Championship quarterfinal.
Bang's looking for on the play, will not find a target. Marin, he'll get a heal from the summoner spell and stay alive. Cocoon buys time for SKT to take down the second tower, and SK Telecom will hold true, and SK Telecom finish the game to go 1-0. Bang gets caught by a Cocoon, and the blade holds Marin in place. On is going low. Marin will not be able to get the kill. Will find Bang. Devour's available, and Wolf eats him, saving Bang.
No damage.
Spits him
Told
back
you.
out, and there's no damage. SKT are 1 game away from a battle against Origin. Bang is going to get killed. Westdoor follows the flash. May not survive. One more hit. Volatile Spiderling comes out. Grand Challenge is available. Zip gets the heal from Decimate, but it's not enough. Zip is being exhausted as he's on the back backline. Artist trying to hop and skip towards Marin. A double kill for Bang. SK Telecom are one step closer to the Summoners Cup.